do some things halfway, like wearing your pajama bottoms on a work call. But managing your prescriptions shouldn't be one of them. That's why CVS has a proprietary search tool to find ways that may help lower your prescription costs, and will deliver them for free. No wonder CVS customers are better than most at staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. Come in or call today and get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Delivery restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com for details.
Looking for your next career opportunity? How about some extra cash to help pay for school? Your locally owned and operated Dixon Foods McDonald's is hiring, and they would love to have you as part of the McFamily. They offer flexible hours, competitive pay, and financial support to pursue your education through McDonald's Archways to Opportunity program. Come join the family at McDonald's. Don't let this financial opportunity pass you by. Please visit DixonFoods.com to apply. While other folks come and go, Greenville Pool and Supply has been your local pool store in Greenville and Eastern North Carolina for over 40 years. Are you finding yourself spending more time at home than ever before? If so, turn your backyard into a vacation destination. Greenville Pool has pools for any size backyard. Choose from the very popular fiberglass, classic vinyl, or custom concrete. If you order your pool now, it could be in by this spring. If you're ready for a pool, contact the pros at Greenville Pool and Supply.
Introducing new Domino's Carside Delivery. Now when you carry out, you don't even need to leave your car. So you don't have to interrupt your favorite song.
It's time to drive down to the rock show.
Or interrupt your kid's favorite song.
We'll be friends just for one.
You can interrupt this, actually.
Try Domino's Carside Delivery when you carry out 3 topping pizzas for $7.99 each, and we'll carry out your order to your car contact-free. Carry out only. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, and charges may vary. Excludes XL and specialty pizzas. Crust availability varies by size. Message and data rates may apply when using Domino's Carside Delivery.
Let us help you get back to business.
This is Donald Stocks
and Justin Judge of PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
We're ready to assist your business with branded PPE. Would you like face masks with your logo? We can do that. Plus custom social distancing signage.
Now is the time to ramp up your marketing efforts. Whether it's cutting edge, contactless, touchless marketing, or traditional direct mail, we can do it all.
We are PIP of Eastern North Carolina.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports-watching drink of all time, Pepsi. Designed to power even the most passionate of armchair quarterbacks, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong, keep you in the zone, and recover from those triumphant wins.
Before I was just your average football fan, but thanks to Pepsi, I'm a football-watching MVP. Nothing can stop me from cheering my team on to victory or overreacting when the ref makes a bad call. What do you mean he wasn't in? That looks like 2 feet to me.
With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi is the premier football-watching beverage.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet or wiped buffalo sauce on my new couch. But thanks to Pepsi, I'm so in the zone, even Mike can't ruin my football party. See? Don't even care.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is proud ECU graduate and former baseball player Brandon Manning inviting you to join my team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Right now, during hurricane season, is a good time to review your coverage with a local trusted agent like me. I will make myself available before or after business hours, and my clients always have my cell phone number if they need anything. From home, auto, or life, give me a call today and let's talk about your insurance coverage and about the Pirates. Call 531-1812 and go Pirates!
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. Welcome to Pirate Radio Live.
You can paint this with purple.
Now live from the Pirate Radio studios in the heart of the Pirate Nation, here is your host, Clip Brock.
Incorrect for the second day in a row. This is Corey Gloor, occasional voice of ECU baseball, filling in for Clip Brock on a Wednesday afternoon edition of Pirate Radio Live. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. We'll entertain you, inform you for the next 3 hours or thereabouts. Happy to have you alongside. We got a loaded show here today. Coming up here in just a little bit, we'll have Kevin Monroe on the line, the Fixed NC Live line, to preview ECU and Temple. Coming up at the bottom of this hour, Jeff Nadu, the big man on campus from Barstool Sports, is going to talk about ECU and Temple, as well as a little sporting event that you might not even realize is occurring tonight. We're talking NBA draft, baby. Get excited. NBA draft is coming up tonight. More NBA draft talk to start hour number 2. Spencer Percy from BuzzBeat Podcast. We're not just talking NBA draft, we're talking Hornets basketball. Feel the fever. Hornets. Actually, I'm not going to tell you what pick the Hornets have because I want to see if anyone out there knows what pick the Hornets have heading into tonight. It's substantial. Hour number 3, we'll have Bryce Williams here in studio for that final hour of the show, and then the voice of the ECU Pirates, Jeff Charles, will join us on the Fixed NC Live line right at 5 o'clock. So a busy show here on Hump Day. Hope you all are staying warm out there. We have a freeze warning coming overnight here tonight. My car didn't start this morning, so I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow morning. We are inching closer and closer to ECU and Temple, and we are attempting Kevin Monroe to get on the line right now. Shirley Rhodes and Chandler Honeycutt are confused on the other side. We'll get to Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin's not answering his phone right now, so we'll give him a couple minutes, then we'll try it again. You want to talk about some of the news today?
Yeah, there were a few, just line them up, a few cancellations already, including a couple in the American for this weekend.
Yeah, you've got the American ones. Which ones were they?
Yes, it was Houston and SMU. That game has been canceled due to a strange turn of events. Houston has issues now with COVID. Remember, when they tried to start the year, like 5 weeks in a row, their opponents kept having to cancel, even though Houston was fine. And now they are the ones that are dealing with COVID issues. Then USF and Navy is also canceled on Saturday. USF is having issues with coronavirus. And that makes how many games now for Navy? At least 3 in conference? Because we mentioned yesterday how the conference trying to reschedule some of their games for December.
Yeah, because they have they're in place to potentially play for the American Championship. Is that right?
Well, a couple of the opponents that they're playing are going to be, and USF definitely is. Navy also, I believe, has an Army-Navy game coming up that is still trying to be had. I think it's supposed to be at Army this year, but right now, ECU and Temple still hanging on. No word from Temple as of today if their circumstances have gotten any more dicey with their coronavirus list. It has certainly hit them hard. And let's talk about that now with Kevin Monroe. He is the analyst on the Pirate Sports Network for Learfield IMG College for Pirate football. You can hear him Saturday morning getting ready for ECU and Temple. Good afternoon, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are.
I'm doing great, and we sit here on a Wednesday, and we are still all systems go for a game Saturday in Philadelphia, in spite of Temple coach Rod Carey wishing that they hadn't played the last few weeks due to their injuries and their COVID situation, in spite of them going to a 4th-string quarterback this week in Matt Duncan. Such is 2020, but it looks as though that if we keep on this path here, Kevin, ECU's got a legit shot to pick up their second win of the year.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly the last good opportunity. I think SMU team a week later is nationally ranked team is going to be a much tougher game. So this is a Temple team that's kind of gone through similar injuries as the Pirates. Although we haven't had a starting quarterback out for more than a game as they have with Russo. So I think that's a big deal. But going into this game, I think the Pirates feel comfortable. You know that you pretty much get 3 points from the folks in Vegas for being the home team. So for the Pirates to be a 4-point or more favorite means they really think that we're at least 7 points better. So I guess that's good. But you still got to go play the game, right?
Indeed, we do. And before we really start diving into Temple and where the Pirates might have the advantage, aside from just the quarterback situation, let's give one final bow on the Cincinnati game here. It feels like it was forever ago, but what's the main takeaway from that game for you against a top 5 team by some estimations? Seeing some of the emergence of some of the younger guys, especially Keaton Mitchell in that game. What can you take away from that loss to the Bearcats now that we've had a few days to digest it?
Well, certainly there's not a lot you can take away from it, other than the Pirates are just not quite there yet. They're not there yet on the offensive line. We've seen now 2 straight games where better defensive linemen have just kind of dominated the Pirates' offensive line. We're not quite there yet in terms of defensive backs. We've seen a couple games now where, receivers are getting open, making plays. Guys are running open. Guys are not covered. We've got to be better back there. And we're really kind of making our way around that curve, that curve where you go from being a bad program to a decent program to a good program. And so coach is getting all of his guys in there, getting them coached up, but they're still not there. I think I was very excited to see what Keaton Mitchell can do. We've already seen what Roger Harris could do in the previous games. And so now to have that kind of two-headed monster to be able to go into each game is great. Now you got to feed both of those guys, keep them happy. It's crazy that so many kids these days that it's a me football world, and I don't know either one of those kids very well. So I'm hoping they're more team-oriented guys. But you look at the Ramon Davis for Temple, he was the leading rusher through 3 or 4 games and decided he wanted to go into the transfer portal. So it's weird. So you got to keep these guys happy these days. And so to have 2 backs that run the ball well, have been effective, is a good problem to have.
And so
hopefully the Pirates. Go
ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so hopefully they can continue to feed both those guys and be better in the running game going forward.
Yeah, I think what stands out to have 2 freshmen jump out like they have is one thing, but they're different styles of runners. And so there's a place for both of them in this offense. Harris is a bigger back. He's more of a bruiser. Mitchell is a little bit shiftier. He can slither through openings a little bit better than Harris can, whereas Harris can plow through contact a little bit better. There's a way to get both of these guys in pretty regularly moving forward, and we've seen that by and large this year. Now the key is making sure that stays that way, not just the next 2 games, but the next couple of years with these guys.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, there's absolutely plenty of carries, and you've seen over the last several games, the Pirates have run the ball as much or more than they've thrown it. So, Coach Houston coming over from a run-happy offense, a lot of his offenses in the past have been run-happy, run first. So that's what he wants to get done, and Donnie Kirkpatrick is the offense coordinator, so they want to run the football. So certainly there's tons of carries for both those guys.
And not even a ton of design QB draws for Ehlers either this year, and that was a big part of this offense last year, but that has been really scaled back, in part because they're getting better production from the tailbacks. But at 2 weeks left to go in the year, are you a little bit surprised that element of the offense, that the QB draw element, has been so taken back and dialed down here by Donnie Kirkpatrick?
I do. I am surprised because it's a part of the offense that you need, especially when you run that run-pass option type offense. You want to be able to, put the ball in the belly of the running back and pull it out and have the quarterback go for a long run. You see teams even using it in the NFL these days. And so without having that aspect, it puts a lot more pressure on the running backs, puts a lot more pressure on the offensive line. And I think I know why. I think they can't afford to have Holton get hurt because Mason Garcia is not quite there yet. And so that's the concern. In years past, maybe there's been a backup that's been more ready to go. So we'll see. But certainly that's an extra additive in your offense when you have a quarterback that can run the ball like Holton can.
Kevin Monroe joining us here on the Fix NC Live line. You hear Kevin every single Saturday or occasional Friday nights on the Pirate Sports Network from Learfield IMG College alongside Jeff Charles, who will be joining us later on in the show. All right, let's start diving into Temple a little bit. You mentioned a couple of things that stood out to you against Cincinnati, offensive line and the defensive backfield. Those are going to be even thinner heading into this game. Nishad Strother is out. He's not on the 2 deep for this week against Temple on the offensive line. Warren Saba's not on the 2 deep at the safety position. That's already been a position that's been a little bit thin this year. So two elements of the game that have been a little bit wanting of late now have to do a little bit more to piece this together against a team that is pretty desperate right now in Temple.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Temple offense that's not been great. They're not averaging 30 points a game like some of the teams that we've seen in the last several weeks. They're now on their fourth string quarterback, as you mentioned. Gosh, I mean, the third string quarterback just got his first start a week ago, and now he's out. And so many different things have come up, and they're starting a true freshman. And we've seen that. We've seen the true freshman start in Mason Garcia this year, and it didn't go great, but we've also seen a guy like the kid at Tulane, Pratt, that was a true freshman that started several games and has played well in one game. So you just never know what you're going to get when you start those young kids. So we'll see what this offense looks like. I mentioned their main running back, their leading rusher, coming into the season and during this season is transferring. And so they're down to their second running back. He's still a good player, averaging 4 yards a carry. So this offense has some ability, but they've just been lacking consistency and the opportunity to make some plays defensively. They've got a few kids that can play, certainly on the defensive line. One of the defensive linemen has 4 sacks already. They forced almost 9 fumbles, I think, this year as a defense. That puts them in the top 10 in the country. So they're ball hawking. They try to get after you, and we've seen Raji Harris put the ball on the ground a couple times this year already. So the Pirates have to take care of the football. So offensively and defensively, Temple has some talent. They have some guys that can make some plays, but the Pirates will have to play really well just to beat them, even though they're 1-5.
Kevin, the ECU has had some issues stopping the run game over the last few weeks. They gave up nearly 300 yards in each of the last 2 games to Cincinnati and Tulane before that. Even Tulsa in the second half had a very good ground game a few weeks ago. We know that Temple's going to put a lot more emphasis on running the ball with a brand new guy, a 4th-string freshman, as their quarterback. And even though they just lost their main running back in the transfer portal, as you've alluded to, we know that's what they're going to try and do to try and take a little bit of pressure off of Duncan here. Can ECU close things up better than they have over the last couple of weeks on the ground?
Yeah, I think they can. And it's funny because I happen to like the front 7. I think the linebackers are as good as they've been here for the last several years. I think the defensive line, though young and inexperienced, they've got a lot of guys, and there's some pretty good players on that defensive line. The problem is it's been the 20 yards or more plays, and it's every now and then there's somebody breaks a run for 20 yards or more, and those 2 or 3 or 4 plays a game will kill you because they go for touchdowns and they go for long runs. They keep a drive going. A 3rd and long, they keep the chains moving, and so I think outside of that, if you just watch a 70-play defensive effort from this front 7, I think they tackle and play well against the run. It's just, it takes 11 guys to play defense. And if on one play 10 guys are playing defense and one guy is out of his lane, there goes a running back for 75 yards. So, yes, they can do it. It's going to take some consistency, some knowing where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and a lot of effort. But certainly they've shown us this season they can stop the run.
Blake Harrell likes to dial it up and kind of bring the house. We've seen that a lot this year with Duncan getting his first start. He's only thrown the ball twice now this year. Do you anticipate an even more aggressive attack by Blake Harrell's defense, at least early on in the game, to try and get him uncomfortable? Or do you envision them trying to sit back a little bit, play coverage, and try and make him throw the ball?
I think a little of both. I think they'll definitely come after him, but I also think that they realize that if they sit back and try to cover up everybody and maybe confuse him, maybe fake a blitz and then drop back, a true freshman quarterback's going to lock in on receivers, and he's going to make some bad decisions. So you'll see a little bit of both. I definitely think you'll see him get blitzed, but you want to find some opportunities to get some intercepted passes. What Temple's going to do in this guy's first start is they're going to shrink their offensive package. They're going to try to move him around a little bit, maybe roll him to one side. They're going to give him one side of the field to look at a time, where he might have 1 or 2, possibly 3 receivers to choose from, and he's going to get rid of that ball quickly. He's not going to be holding on to the ball for a long time, going through a long progression like you see some junior and senior quarterbacks do. That's just not going to happen. So trying to get to him, trying to get him on the ground with a sack may not be as easy as you think, because he's going to try to get rid of that ball quickly.
Kevin, last one for you here, and then we'll let you go. Take the record out right now with 2 games left in the season for ECU. Is this team, what have they surprised you about? What's something that you've been a little bit disappointed by? Where are they at right now as opposed to what your expectations were heading into this very strange year?
I guess I'm negatively surprised by the Georgia State effort early in the season and the Tulane effort early in the season. The play of C.J. Johnson this season, those things have all kind of been a surprise for me because I didn't think that we'd have those games where you'd lose by 30-plus points to teams that you should be competitive with. I thought the Pirates had turned the corner on those type of games, and I thought C.J. was, materializing into being a star in this conference. He certainly was a year ago. I can't understand why this season has been so down, why he can't seem to get open, why there's been more drops than there's been in the past. That has been interesting for me. I'm positively surprised or excited about the play of the young running backs. We didn't know what to expect from those guys. I think both Harris and Mitchell have been great. Mitchell just here as of late, but even we saw spurts earlier in the season that we liked a lot from him. I'm excited about the defensive line play. I thought the defensive line was a great unknown on this defense, and I think they've been the most consistent part of this defense all season long. When you're playing 12, 13, 14 guys, they just keep rolling those guys in there, and they've all been active and effective. The linebackers I'm happy about. I think, between Smith and Bivens and Ramseur, they've all played great. I like Jairo Wilson. He's had a good season. So all these guys have been active and been playing hard and helping the secondary as much as they can. But the secondary, with McMillan, who's had, was really good a year ago, hasn't been as good this year. Malik Fleming didn't start as much last year, but he played quite a bit. He hasn't been as good. The safeties, Dorso has looked pretty good. Saba's looked pretty good, but as you said, Saba's injured. So just kind of up and down. The offensive line obviously just can't stay healthy. They can't stay with the same mix of guys at any one time, and you see that at every level of football. If you can't keep 5 guys with some consistency on that offensive line, you're just not going to be good, and so they've struggled. And I think Holton has just been okay. I thought he should have taken that next step to be a much better player. Some of that has to do with the offensive line, but he just hasn't taken that next step like I thought he would. I think that the Blake Pohl and Tyler Snead have done their thing when given the opportunity, but the passing game has just been down this year.
Good stuff, Kevin, and we'll let you go on that. Have a good call with Jeff on Saturday, and we will catch up with you down the road, all right?
Awesome. Appreciate it.
It's Kevin Monroe. You hear him every Pirate football game on the radio side of things with Jeff Charles on the Pirate Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Joining us on the Fixed NC Live line. If you've got damage, use a contractor that works for you, not your insurance company. Visit fixednc.com today. Fixed NC. Restore, renew, maintain. We got a few guests lined up on the Fixed NC Live line, including Jeff Nadu coming up in just about 15 minutes time or so. We'll talk about ECU Temple and how that line shifted very quickly earlier this week, and we'll talk about the NBA draft. Get your popcorn ready. The draft is coming. We'll take our first time out here on PRL. Stay tuned.
At Tiebreakers, we admit we have a bit of a problem. People love our wings so much that they're starting to sell their home TVs just so they can watch all the sporting events here at Tiebreakers. Seriously, we're glad you love our hand-breaded and hand-cut boneless wings that much, but we really need you to go home at the end of the night. It's okay, we'll be here tomorrow. And when you come back, bring a friend with you. For great food, great friends, and cold beer, we'll see you at Tiebreakers. Tiebreakers, break the chain, eat local.
This is Ashley, and on behalf of the whole Shimmer Boutique crew, we would like to say thank you for voting us Best Gift Shop and Best Women's Boutique in 2020. We could not have done it without you, and we hope that you will shop with us this holiday season. Shimmer carries a wide variety of men's, youth, women's clothing, and jewelry, as well as home goods. Shimmer is your one-stop shop for the whole family this holiday season. Plus, we will always offer complimentary gift wrapping. Shimmer Boutique, located on Greenville Boulevard behind Starbucks, in Winterville besides New River Pottery, and in Jacksonville's Mall.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-styled restaurant and bar. Join us at the Rick House for mouth-watering steaks and the best burgers around. Check out the spicy mahi risotto or the bourbon pecan salmon. Wednesday night is date night. 2 salads, an appetizer, a bottle of wine, 2 entrees, and a dessert for just $55. Thursday is ladies' night with $5 martinis and special apps. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville. The Rick House.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and welcome inside the booth. A big question, will the fans come back? I'll have some thoughts after this.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time, Pepsi. Designed to power even the most passionate of armchair quarterbacks, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong, keep you in the zone, and recover from those triumphant wins.
Before I was just your average football fan, but thanks to Pepsi, I'm a football watching MVP. Nothing can stop me from cheering my team on to victory or overreacting when the ref makes a bad call. What do you mean he wasn't in? That looks like 2 feet to me.
With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi is the premier football watching beverage.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet or wiped buffalo sauce on my new couch. But thanks to Pepsi, I'm so in the zone, even Mike can't ruin my football party. See? Don't even care.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
The pandemic will end at some point. We just don't know when. Life is not going to be like this forever, although it is going to change. It's tough watching all these football games played in empty stadiums. My fear is people are finding other things to do. I have said for years, way before COVID-19, that we are going to kill the goose who laid the golden egg. Ridiculous coaching salaries and contracts, money paid to inflated athletic department staffs, millions spent on facilities, people holding the purse strings were spending money like drunken sailors. It all had to end at some point. And like always, the consumer had to pay. But does the consumer still want to pay? The internet is a great thing. There are no secrets anymore. People know what the deal is. Will they continue to support sports enterprises? My guess is yes, but only at some level. COVID has changed everything, including the way we look at sports. Come on back again next time, and we'll visit Inside the Booth.
The fun place to dine out with friends and family is Familia. Familia has something for everyone and offers favorites like New York-style pizza, lasagna, homemade meatballs, plus new specials like chicken parm alfredo, mahi fish and chips, chicken piccata, veggie burger, butternut squash ravioli, and more. If you need food to go, Familia's drive-thru window is open and ready for all takeout orders. Familia, Fire Tower Road near Pitt Community College, and FamiliaNC.com.
This is Coach Gary Overton, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
for a free consultation. Now let's head back into Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
Should turn on the microphone, shouldn't I?
Yeah, that would help.
It's an audio business. Thank you, Shirley. And that was my guy leading in, too. Coach Gary Overton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Coach
him a few weeks ago. He's doing well. Snuck out to the Purple Gold World Series. I was doing PA for the Purple Gold World Series at Clark LeClaire a few weeks ago.
So how are the guys looking, since you've probably got more eyes on the baseball team right now than anybody else has?
Truly, they might be the biggest team, just size-wise, that I've seen in my time here. And coming up in 2021, this would be season number 6 for me, calling games. It's the biggest team size-wise that I've seen.
You know, I often wonder, with the ECU baseball team, with their season being shortened the way that it was at the beginning of the pandemic, just how far that team would have been able to go, in the season, especially into the postseason.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were asking that because I felt right when the shutdown started, they actually got into their rhythm a little bit.
Yeah.
They were pretty inconsistent offensively at the start, and I felt like the last 4 or 5 games they had figured that out. They had found the right lineup. They had found where people need to be, and then everything stopped. Pitching wise, they were unbelievable, and I think they could be even a little bit better next year on the mound.
Well, see, and that's saying a lot because you've got guys like, of course, Alec Burleson no longer there because he got drafted. So you got guys that graduated from the program, have moved on. Some have chosen not to come back, even though they've got that extra year of eligibility. So you're talking about some experienced players coming back, and then you've got some new players coming in. And I just think that Cliff Godwin has got a monster squad. I know you said that they're bigger in size. I just think, with the amount of experience he's got on that team that are coming back, and then, some of the extra pieces that he's been able to, to pick up recruiting-wise, I really think he is really building something special here, probably more so this year than any other year.
A little peek behind the curtain, a little inside baseball, if you will, on this past season for ECU baseball. I was catching up with Coach Godwin prior to, we were in Charlotte, so this turned out to be the last weekend of the year, that Charlotte series, and it was the Sunday game, and I got to him in the hotel that morning before I left for the park to record pregame interview. It'll be surprising to some people, though we don't do that live. Stay tuned. But I sat down with him in their team room. They had a meeting room in the hotel. The team had all left. They were going out to the bus, and then I was going to record my interview with him, and he's just sitting there looking at an index card with about 12 to 14 names on it, and they're all pitchers on the team, and he's just sitting there, and he's trying to he's crossing one out and moving one around, and he just looks at me and says, "Corey, I have so many pitchers. And they've lost one from that team a year ago in Burleson. Everyone else, by and large, is back, and they added a few to this bunch this year. I mean, they have the potential to be so good on the mound.
And and that's funny because when you think about some of the struggles that we had, where we had, stretches of 3-4, games where the pitching struggled. And, you go into the bullpen 3, 4, 5 times during the course of a ball game, and now you've got a pitching staff. That's a pretty good problem to have, is to have that many good pitchers on, in your bullpen and at your disposal for any game.
Even the 2018, 2019 teams that hosted regionals went to a Super 19. Even the bullpen wasn't as strong as I think people realize for those 2 years.
Yeah.
This 2020 team had that ready, and this 2021 team has that at the ready when we can get there. And I think what's fascinating here is, we haven't even seen a basketball conference schedule yet.
Yeah.
So there's way cart before the horse in terms of how a baseball schedule might look at this point. So if it looks normal or if it is adjusted, like what we've seen D1 baseball say might be a possibility, and how the American might do conference only 4-game weekends, that sort of thing. Either way you put that into place, whatever type of schedule ECU baseball might have this coming spring, their pitching is ready for it.
I just think it's going to, that's why, and, Cliff Godwin has been obviously a vocal proponent. He does not want to miss another baseball season.
Yeah.
And obviously nobody wants to do that. I mean, we all want to kind of get back to some semblance of normalcy. And for a lot of us, when we talk spring, that means ECU baseball. I mean, I know a lot of us, including myself, I love hanging out in the jungle and watching a baseball game and, being able to enjoy, I'm a baseball fan in general, but I love going to the ECU baseball games and to see this team, the way it's stacked up and heading into the season, or into the spring, I should say, that generates a level of excitement, and seeing what the Pirates were able to do in a very shortened season, and thinking, hey, if we had a normal season, we could have been deep into the postseason this past year. So, of course, that opportunity will present itself again coming up in the spring. But I'd love to see, I just can't wait for baseball season. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I can't wait for basketball season either. I'm ready for it to start next week too.
It will, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Although there's been a few basketball teams out there that have had to push their seasons back another couple of weeks because of COVID issues. So, it still remains to be seen just how much basketball we're going to get to see next week. But and it may be just a staggered start like we've seen in college football, where some people will start on time and some will have to, wait a few weeks or whatever. But I'm pretty excited about just the idea of seeing a much improved and much older Joe Dooley basketball team, a much improved, much older Kim McNeil basketball team. And then look ahead to the springs. Don't sleep on ECU softball either. They've got returning players. Some of the best players that they've got on the team are returning, and they've got a couple of pieces that were freshmen last year, but showed signs of being really, really good. So I'm looking forward to sport. We just got to get to it.
Yeah.
We got to get it started.
Got to get there. Got to do it safely here, and you got all the fall sports that are moving, that are playing in spring as well.
Absolutely,
you got volleyball, you got soccer in there.
We got lacrosse too.
Lacrosse,
or no?
normal spring, but it'll
right.
be there as well. And track and field will be amongst that. Cross country, all that fun stuff.
It's going to be a busy spring at ECU if we can get ourselves in a situation where we can execute all of that and get it done.
Let's get there, and we got to get to Jeff Nadu here in just a little bit. But the question for you, Shirley, I know the answer for Chandler is yes. But did you know prior to coming into the office today that the NBA draft was tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
And the only reason I knew that is because you guys were talking about it yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I mean, it is.
I do listen to the show from time to time.
It's something I'll probably ask Jeff about here because it's. I mean, all the sports world has been reshuffled, and so the fact that we're sitting here a week before Thanksgiving and an NBA draft is happening tonight doesn't quite register. And doesn't quite grab attention.
Well, yeah, because honestly, if I had not heard you mention it yesterday, I wouldn't have known. Because I just don't pay attention. And I'm not much of an NBA fan to start with. I mean, I stopped being an NBA fan when Jordan retired. But as far as watching it on a regular basis, I'll catch a game here and there, but mostly I'll wait till postseason to do that. But so if you had not mentioned it yesterday, I would have never known.
Did you know heading into work today what pick the Hornets had?
Oh God, no.
Do you know now?
No.
They have Chandler knows. What pick do they have tonight?
They have the 3rd overall pick,
which is substantial.
Absolutely.
Is that their highest ever?
It's got to be.
At least in this. Well, ever since they reformed. And they had the number 2 pick that first year of their existence as the Bobcats. This has got they haven't barely been in the top 5 most years.
Oh, absolutely not. And there was a good chance that we weren't going to be in the top 4 or 5 in this draft. And then the lottery kind of we showed a lot of luck in the lottery.
There's a franchise that needed a little bit like this in the NBA. We'll talk about this as we move along here. It's the Charlotte Hornets, because if you knew that they were a thing, you're better than most people in this city. Let's get the draft talk started here. Jeff Nadu from Barstool Sports joined us earlier on today, and he's always been pumped up about the NBA draft. So let's talk about that with him, talk about ECU Temple, and you'll hear it right now. Joined now by Jeff Nadu from Barstool Sports, the big man on campus. Jeff, I was told you're usually on Thursdays, but you are very excited about an NBA draft tonight, and so we have you on a day early.
Yeah, I'm. Look, I've made it clear that I'm interested. Whenever Pirate Radio has interest in bringing me on, I'll come on. I'm always available for the great folks at Pirate Radio.
Well, as am I, as it turns out, this week. So you and I are in the same boat. Let's talk draft tonight. We are talking later on today in the show with Spencer Percy to talk about the Hornets side of things with their 3rd pick. And that's where I want to start with you, because it seems like right now that's kind of locked in, but the possibility of the Hornets moving out of that pick is still there. Lamellar Ball is kind of the name everyone's seeing for the Hornets there at 3, but they're also Lamellar Ball is also has the second best odds to be picked number 1 overall. What do you think happens at 3, and what's a slightly turbulent top of the draft?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because, I've heard a lot of people mention that you don't have that star in this year's draft, but I think you have a lot of really good players in this draft. Look, I've been on record as saying I think Anthony Edwards fits perfectly with what Minnesota is going to do. I actually really like Russell. I love Towns, obviously. I think that 2 guard would be perfect for them. I think the Golden State Warriors will draft James Wiseman. I think to be honest, I think Charlotte would definitely enjoy James Wiseman. But, I talked with Clip a while ago that I thought Obi Toppin could be interesting for them. I think with Charlotte, the goal right now is to obviously get people excited about this team again and try to build something. Because in the East, you're never really that far out of it. But, when you look at the Hornets roster, when you look at the makeup, I think the pick that they're going to have is, do they want to take Lamellar Ball? And there's really no one in this draft that's going to command what Lamellar Ball commands off the court. Ticket sales will go up immensely with Lamellar Ball. I'm not really in love with what they have at point guard. I think he could slot right in next to Terry Rozier, and they could develop a really good kind of rapport. If it were my pick, I would go with Lamellar Ball. I think Lamellar Ball is terrific. A lot of people don't really and haven't really seen him play, so they just talk about what they have kind of seen. He's a maestro with the basketball. He makes people immensely better, and he's played pro basketball for a long time. A lot of people forget he played in Lithuania. He played in Australia. I mean, those leagues are good leagues, especially Australia. I would take Lamellar Ball at number 3, and I think they're going to have the opportunity to do so.
I think the fact that the NBA draft is beneath the radar, frankly, on the sports consciousness right now. Time of year is one thing. Everything going on is the big thing. But the names at the top are not big. They're not grabbing attention like we have in most years. And, we're talking about James Wiseman, who barely played last year in college season before he left Memphis. These are some names that I think casual fans aren't quite latching onto heading into tonight. That could create, for my book, a little bit of chaos here tonight and uncertainty, not just in the top 3, but in the first half of this first round, where a lot's kind of up for grabs here. It has the opportunity to be a pretty fascinating night, even though there isn't a lot of major intrigue heading in.
Yeah, I think obviously, this year, there's so many things that have had to kind of move around, and we've had some random. This should have been 6 months ago, but it's just the level of where we are right now with this virus. But for someone like me, I love the NBA draft. I love kind of progressing and figuring out where guys will go. I watch a lot of these kids in college, and in some of the cases, like I've been watching Lamellar Ball since he was at Chino Hills in California. These are guys that. Dede Avdija, I've been watching him for years. So, there's a lot of guys that kind of become household names that I'm just excited about. But I think for the Hornets, all in all, whether it's Lamellar Ball, whether it's even, Obi Toppin, I think Obi Toppin's falling a bit. But both players, I think, will command a huge kind of popularity, and I think Obi Toppin would be terrific as well. He's a guy that I said to Clip, he would be a guy you'd put on a poster back in the day, of him jumping over someone. I think for Obi, the problem that he has right now is defensively. Defensively, he's not good. He's a poor defender, and teams will target him defensively. And that could be one of the reasons for his fall. But I think all in all, the Hornets are in a great spot to get a terrific player.
Jeff Nadu joining us here on PRL. You can find him at Jeff Nadu on Twitter for all your betting and sports intrigue needs heading into the draft tonight and into the football weekend. We'll touch on that in just a little bit as well here, Jeff. But I've been clued in that you are a Sixers fan. Is that true?
I am. I'm a diehard Sixers fan. I remember growing up watching, to me, the greatest player in basketball history, Allen Iverson. I know he never will be considered that, but in my small world as a 10, 11-year-old, I idolized Allen Iverson. I remember watching them go to the finals in 2001. So, yes, I'm a diehard Sixer fan, yes.
They are sitting at 21. Is there anything they can do at 21 that will jumpstart your excitement heading into whenever next season starts?
Yeah, look, they have not been, in my life, a very good drafting team. Frankly, they've been among the league's worst. But obviously, Daryl Morey coming in, obviously, is a little bit more exciting. We have a new coach, finally. Look, the Sixers need to hit in this draft. One of the issues that they've failed in recently is the fact that they don't prioritize the draft. And when you look at teams in the makeup, the goal is building teams on the bench through the draft, Corey. That's what you do. You go out, like the Miami Heat, and you find good basketball players, and you build your bench and your sixth men and stuff through the draft. The Sixers don't do that, and there's a reason their roster makeup sucks right now. They don't have anyone like that. They need to hit. Tonight they need to attack shooting. They need to go out and find a 2-guard or a 1-guard that can shoot. Ben Simmons, I think going forward, is probably not going to be a pure point guard or the point guard anymore. They need a point guard. Tyrell Terry out of Stanford makes sense. I think he's the second best shooter in this draft. If Aaron Naismith falls out of Vanderbilt, he would be my number one. But you got to go either Naismith, Tyrell Terry, or Malachi Flynn out of San Diego State, maybe Desmond Bain. There's very few things they can do to screw this up, but in my past and in my years, this town usually brings me down. So we'll see.
If we were chatting 2 days ago, Jeff, I would have asked you about my fandom and my particular team here, but they've decided they're no good for the draft this year. It's the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm not terribly sad about that with the recent moves that they've done, but I am biased with what they've done with the deals for Drew Holiday and Bogdan Bogdanovic, all in a attempt to make sure Giannis signs this weekend. You're an outsider here. Why am I wrong about being this excited about the Bucks? I believe they have one pick in tonight, and that is 60. So I might not even watch. But why am I wrong about being excited about this?
Well, look, I mean, I'll tell you this. The 60th pick, Isaiah Thomas was the 60th pick, the one from a few years ago, not the original Isaiah Thomas.
Keep in mind that the Bucks have had a similar draft history as the Sixers. So, you may proceed.
I'm just saying, I mean, you never know. Maybe the 60th pick. There's been some good 60th picks. But, yeah, look, I actually am quite excited about the Bucks. And as a Sixer fan, it hurts because the Sixers haven't done anything. And, you know, the Bucks, I think the big issue last year that I didn't like about the team was they didn't get any better. I thought they got progressively worse last year, not this year. I think Drew Holiday, I love Drew Holiday. I wish the Sixers would have kept him. I'm a big fan of his game. I think he's a terrific point guard. I like Bogdan Bogdanovic. I think Drew can play really both guard positions. Bogdan's just a great shooter, a great shot creator. I'm a big fan of the European player. I've been a big fan since I saw Drazen Petrovic in the 90s. Those are just terrific, really high IQ basketball players. The goal is to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think you're going out and you're making moves to show him that, you know, you want to win. I think the Bucks are, you know, the de facto 1-2 team, you know, outside of Brooklyn and, you know, the Celtics. They're right there. So, and they have Giannis, hopefully. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about the draft. You made some really good moves that are going to help your team right away.
Give me a few of the prop bets you're looking at tonight for this night, because prop bets on draft night are always very interesting to me. What are some of the things you're looking at?
Well, you know, for me, I definitely would make it clear. I think the order of draft tonight's going to be Edwards, Wiseman, Ball. So if you can find kind of that correlated prop, I think you have a lot of value there. I will say, and I've said this to Clip in the NFL draft, I think to make money with props, you have to be willing to lay prices. You know, a lot of the time it's not sexy, Corey, to lay $300, $400 on a prop, but you know, any sharp gambler will tell you you have to lay money to make money. That's just how it goes sometimes. I think James Wiseman, unless traded, I think is very much cemented as the number 2 pick. I would probably lay the price on that. Again, as far as exact order, I would definitely be looking at something there. So if you go Edwards, Wiseman, Ball, Avdija, plus 184, I think that has some value. Onyeka Okongwu, he's an interesting player. We're starting to hear some concerns about Onyeka Okongwu out of USC, his feet. We're starting to hear some problems about some injuries, possibly chronic injuries. So that's something to keep your eye on. His under at this point is actually the favorite. I had him going, where did I have Onyeka going? I had him actually going 9th. So I have the over with some value there at a plus money price. I also have been on record as saying that Killian Hayes is the best overall player in this draft. A lot of people don't know much about him, but he is a pretty much the same player as Manu Ginobili. If you've ever watched Manu, he even is a left-handed player. So he has some value. I think Detroit at 7 could possess something there. I've also been pretty low on Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm going to look to go over 7.5 with him. I don't necessarily understand the obsession with him, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, the prop that I like most is probably, to be honest, I think Wiseman's a foregone. I would lay the price there. It's a big price, but I think it gets it done. And I like the correlated top 4 as well.
Jeff, the Pirates are coming your way this weekend to take on Temple. That line shifted dramatically on Monday with the news about Temple not quite sure what their quarterback situation is and looking like it's going to be a 4th-string freshman that gets his first start against the Pirates. It was Temple -3 to start. Now it's Pirates -3.5. It's kind of wavered there. Is this something that you play because of how volatile it shifted there right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, I agreed with the move. I told Clip the other day when I spoke to him, and I'll tell you the same thing. I would play ECU at this price. I think, my kind of goal is maybe get 3 here. But the truth of the matter is, without Anthony Russo, this is a really bad football team. We've seen that against Tulane. We saw it last week against Central Florida. It really doesn't matter whether it's Beatty, whether it's Mitchell. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. Real Mitchell is not a Division I quarterback. He doesn't belong on the football field. And with Holton Ahlers, he's kind of what you have here. And look, if Russo was playing it, it would be a fun football game, probably a high-scoring game. But ECU's got to be looking at this as a business trip to go up and get a win against a bad team. Temple is a bad defensive team. They're a bad offensive team. They're not well coached. Rod Carey is not a good football coach. It's pretty simple. I hated when they hired Rod Carey. It's just mediocrity. He's never won a bowl game. There's nothing to like about Temple right now. I would play ECU.
Jeff, a little insight into me since it's the first time we've chatted here. You're speaking to an alum of Northern Illinois University. So when he left for Temple, I was elated. And so I'm hoping for a bludgeoning this Saturday. And I apologize that you have him in your view. Any games on your radar this weekend? Is it too early on a Wednesday to start looking at things with games dropping every day at this point in the season, or are there a few things you already got your eye on?
Nah, I mean, it's never too early, man. I mean, I will say, though, that for me this year with some of the COVID things, I have been a little bit more gun-shy to play a lot of stuff early in the week just because of things we're seeing. But I will say this, I have my eye really on this Pac-12 game, Washington State and Stanford. I've not been impressed with what I've seen out of Stanford. Defensively, they look poor. Offensively, they've been kind of all over the place. And I'm actually really high on Washington State. I think Nick Rolovich has that team going more in the wavelength of being a contender in this league as opposed to a basement dweller. I love their quarterback, the freshman, Jaden DeLora. I'm not quite sure why they're an underdog in this game. I know it's a road game, but Nick Rolovich has this team playing at a pretty high level. I know they lost last week to Oregon, but they were leading for large parts of that game. So I'm squarely looking at Washington State here. I also will tell you that I would probably lay it with Brigham Young against North Alabama. Brigham Young needs style points. This is a huge number, but I'm going to tell you right now, 59-0 would look mighty good in this game. BYU's kind of on the outside looking in if they have a shot to get to that Final Four. Cincinnati actually, they have a common opponent in Houston. Jesse Palmer made this argument last night on that college football show. Cincinnati actually took care of Houston. BYU struggled with them. I think they are on the outside looking in. They need to win every game big. North Alabama is not on the same wavelength as even a low-end Division I team. This has 58-0 written all over it.
You can find him on Twitter at Jeff Nadu. He is the big man on campus from Barstool Sports. Jeff, enjoy the draft tonight. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll be talking to you down the road here.
Corey, you did a nice job. Thank you, and we'll talk to you guys real soon at Pirate Radio.
Sounds good. Have a good one. Jeff Nadu joined us on the Fixed NC Live line. If you got damage, use a contractor that works for you, not your insurance company. Visit fixednc.com today. Fixed NC. Restore, renew, maintain. While you were listening to that interview, another game in college football dropped off the schedule this weekend. We'll tell you about that and more after this, here on a Wednesday edition of Pirate Radio Live.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Tom Brown from Brown & Wood Cadillac. We've been serving the Pirate Nation in eastern North Carolina for 83 years. We have 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 showrooms, and 1 goal to make sure you leave a happy customer.
This month at Brown & Wood, get an all-new 2020 Cadillac Escalade and save over $18,000 off. As always, Brown & Wood is the home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
We're located on Greenville Boulevard next to the Convention Center, or shop us online at brownandwoodauto.com.
Your CBD store in Greenville has the highest quality CBD products in the country. Your CBD store is the first and only brand that carries USDA certified organic products such as gummies, honey sticks, and high absorption water-soluble liquids, which are all made in the United States. They even offer products for your pet. The educated staff will help you answer any questions, and you can stop in anytime to get a free sample. Your CBD store, locally owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, right beside Duck Donuts in Greenville.
Banking is banking until service is not the same. This is Eric Clark from Select Bank and Trust, and this year has been unusual, but we have continued to focus on what has always been important to us, our customers. When businesses needed access to the Paycheck Protection Program, our team of local bankers worked around the clock to successfully keep our customers open and their employees working. Wouldn't you like to deal with a bank that is responsive to your needs, can make local decisions, and cares about you, the customer? We are Select Bank and Trust. Bank local, bank select.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Martin Truex Jr., and as a NASCAR Cup Series champion, I love one-stop shopping. When I need fresh tires or fuel during a race, my pit crew takes care of everything. Off the track, I have an auto owner's independent agent. They handle all my insurance in one place: car, home, life, and business. Get your own pit crew and find a local agency with auto owner's insurance.
This is Jeff Gibson with Town Insurance in Greenville. Call me today at 756-8300. Go Pirates!
This just in, the holidays are not canceled. Now, back to you.
Thanks, Shirley. With the holidays approaching, it is time to plan those special end-of-the-year get-togethers with friends and coworkers at Emporium. Explore your pour at Emporium, Greenville's favorite place for private events. Emporium offers 52 self-pour taps, plus a nice selection of wine and champagne on tap as well. Book today by calling 565-8773 or visit Emporium.com and follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Emporium, Dickinson Avenue, downtown Greenville.
Warren's Hot Dog Pizza, homemade lemonade.
Hey Pirate Nation, Warren's Hot Dogs 2 locations are open for business in Greenville and Chocowinity. Both locations have drive-through windows, so stop by today for hot dogs, pizzas, subs, apple and peach turnovers, homemade lemonade, and breakfast in Chocowinity, featuring homemade cheese, ham, and chicken biscuits, plus sausage dogs and more. Warren's in Greenville across from Ron Ayers Motorsports, and in Chocowinity next to the fire department. Warren's Hot Dogs. Want some? Get some.
BMS Builders is your premier custom builder in eastern North Carolina. With Blackwood and Mills Creek in Greenville, Dalton's Cove in Farmville, and Belmar and Ayden, these are just a few of the developments featuring BMS Builders homes. They can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or East Carolina football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. BMS Builders. Give them a call at 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
The holiday season is here, and Sam Jones Barbecue will take the stress off of your brain and put some goodness on your table this year with our special meal packages. This is Sam Jones, and our Thanksgiving heat and serve meal packages include whole smoked turkey breast, mac and cheese, green bean casserole, baked beans, and 12 potato muffins, including whole pecan pie and a ball of our sweet barbecue sauce. Place your order now at samjonesbarbecue.com and plan your time for convenient curbside pickup. From our family to yours, happy holidays.
This is Stephen Igo, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 1 of Pirate Radio Live. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Now is the perfect time for a review of your home, auto, and life insurance with a trusted and experienced agent. Call ECU grad Brandon Manning with Farm Bureau Insurance at 531-1812. Brandon's clients always have his cell phone number and is available before or after business hours. Call Brandon today at 531-1812 to schedule a review and get a free quote. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
All right, Shirley, thank you. Hey, Shirley, what are you doing at 8 o'clock Saturday morning?
I will be right at this very chair, microphone, board, computer,
punching the buttons and spinning the dials for the Bud Light pregame tailgate. Starts 8 o'clock this Saturday in preparation for ECU and Temple. And then when the fourth quarter ends, the fifth quarter begins. The U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show will be on the air taking your calls until the last caller is served. Saturday, ECU and Temple. Clip Brock is on the road back for that particular day.
Yeah, and you know what's really funny is, usually, anybody who does what we do or really guys in the media, when we cover ECU football, it can be a grind, and usually by the end of the season, you're just about ready for football season to be over with, and you're ready to move on to basketball and do other things. But I tell you what, this season has flown by, and now we only got 2 weeks left. 2 more games, 2 more pre-games, and I don't know what happened to it. I just blinked, and next thing I know, we're almost done.
Well, if you're going to have yourself a second screen experience on Saturday with Kansas and Texas, you're out of luck. That game has just been canceled. Kansas is having COVID issues. So you had a list there that you found, Shirley, before we went on the air.
Yeah.
Again, 2 games in the American have already been canceled. It was Houston SMU, which was 12 noon on ESPNU. And yes, I know that's floating out there a little bit amongst Pirate Nation about maybe Pirates and Owls shifting a little bit. We'll see. And then it was Navy and USF. That was a night game Saturday. And now we can add Kansas and Texas to the mix. There are a couple SEC games are already bagged a few days ago.
Yeah, and today, Utah State and Wyoming. That game was actually scheduled for tomorrow night. That game's been canceled because of COVID issues. And this one came out probably about almost about an hour ago. Central Arkansas and Louisiana, that game was scheduled for Saturday. Now it's been canceled due to COVID issues. Now, Central Arkansas reportedly is in talks to add a replacement for that game for Saturday, but as of yet, there's no agreement. There's no announcement as of yet as if Central Arkansas can work something out to where they can have an opponent for Saturday. So we'll keep an eye on that. You were talking about Houston, and I'm curious because you talked about how the first 5 games,
4 or 5 weeks,
4 or 5 weeks, Houston couldn't play because other teams had COVID issues. Can you tell me how many games Houston has actually played this year?
I can dial that up for you here. I don't have it on hand, but I will find it for you here in
because
what we
that's
call
what's
a small
been,
talk segment.
Yeah, because I just find it interesting that they started so late in the season because of the fact that they could not get some of these games in. Now, we only had just a couple. We had
Houston
3 games, I think.
Has played 5 games.
Okay, so
they're 3-2. Well, now it says they're 3-3. 3-3. They played 6 games. They pulled
out of a
6.
12-game schedule.
Yeah, they had Rice, Baylor, and North Texas wiped out to start the year. And then they've actually been on a heater since until this week when SMU was bagged because of issues at Houston.
Right. So I just, if you go back and you look at the American standings, just go through and see how many of these teams, don't have a whole lot of games in their repertoire for this year. Because
that was one of the things that watching the Pirate Bearcat game last Friday night, the broadcast crew touched on a little bit when talking about Cincinnati's playoff berth try here. And that Cincinnati, if they can have a clean slate the rest of the way, see, they're 7-0 right now. They've got 3 more games on the schedule, plus a conference championship game if one gets held. That's an 11-game season where a lot of teams might not hit anywhere close to that number. Certainly the Big Ten won't. Pac-12 won't. And does that help Cincinnati if they run the table and go 11-0?
That's a good question. And then you start talking about, well, what about the bowl season? When you go past the championship game, which I know the American, I believe, is December 12th.
I think they've
or was it the 19th?
12th, 19th. They've left it flexible. I think they pushed it to 19 now.
Yeah, so you look at that, and then the potential for them to play in a bowl if the bowl season can get up off the ground. I know that there's been a lot of talk. I know that the playoff bowls obviously will, because there's just too much money invested in those bowls.
Bill
to
Hancock
be able to,
will not entertain the idea of moving those.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. Or canceling them altogether.
Well, they won't be canceled, but heaven forbid we move those.
Yeah. So
what on earth would we do that for, Bill?
Yeah, because we don't make any money off of those, but whatever. But so then there's the question of could they potentially have a 12-game season if you count a bowl, if they go
Well, they can hopefully get 11 in an attempt to get one of those 4 spots.
Yeah.
And then, we know what will happen. They can go 11-0. They've got UCF, Temple, Tulsa. So they've got 2 tough games plus a conference championship game if that's able to be held. Because, again, more games were just canceled today in the conference. So if Cincinnati can put an 11-0 resume up there, then they'll put them in, I don't know, they'll send them to the Orange Bowl or whatever. Or I don't know what the 2 playoff games are this year, but we know what's going to happen. We've seen it before with 2 other programs in the conference. And, again, I'm not positive Clip. I know it's going to happen to Cincinnati. They will have a great year. They will probably run the table. It's not going to matter.
They're going to get snubbed. Because that's just the way college, even in an anomaly of a year that we have had, and honestly, in the top, having the AP top 25 and having half the teams that are normally in a typical college football year, in the top of that AP top 25, not even start on time.
Yeah,
and you would think that
you had Wisconsin sitting in like the top 12.
And they
for half the year, and they didn't play.
Yeah, and which made no sense whatsoever, because the way I looked at it was you put the top 25 teams that are currently playing in the top 25, which I thought at that point you have to throw all your normal rules out the window, because you've got half of college football not playing, the other half is playing. Give the ones that are playing that opportunity to get themselves ranked and give them an opportunity to play in a playoff bowl. That's just the way I look at it. But the NCAA doesn't look at things.
Why would you adjust? Why would you adapt to a unique situation?
Cincinnati is not going to draw as many viewers and as much money as, say, a Clemson. So, that it's all about what it comes down to with the college football playoffs has nothing to do with whether or not a team is successful and can play for a national championship. It has everything to do with how many eyeballs are going to watch that game and how much money they can make off of it. That's really what it boils down to.
We're lighting some fires here on a Wednesday edition
I don't care.
of PRL. Hour number 2 coming up. We will shift gears back to the draft tonight and talk with Spencer Percy from Buzzbeat Podcast. Get you all the fillings and the fixins you need for the Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets, picking 3rd tonight in the 2020 NBA Draft. If you aren't feeling the fire yet, then I can't help you. But Spencer will get you over the edge coming up after this. Hour number 2 on the way here on PRL.
Naughty Dog Brewing Company would like to thank everyone for voting them one of the best breweries in 2020. Stop by Naughty Dog this holiday season for a cold one with friends and family, or pick up some crowlers to go. Naughty Dog also has gift cards and cool swag perfect for presents. Naughty Dog has new beer releases every month, plus a great selection of wines, seltzers, and ciders. Also, don't forget about the pub run every Monday at 6:15. Naughty Dog Brewing Company on Main Street in downtown Winterville, and a fun follow on Facebook and Instagram.
The best place in Greenville to unwind and have fun is AJ McMurphy's. AJ's is open every day with great food and great drink specials. During the week, stop by for open mic, music on the patio, or sports trivia with me, Clip Rock. The weekends are made for football. Watch every game in college on Saturday, and every Sunday is Fun Day with the NFL ticket. Follow AJ's on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat to see their features menu and weekly lineup. AJ McMurphy's, Turnberry Square at Bell's Fork, and online at ajmcmurphys.com.
University Book Exchange, UBE or ECU. University Book Exchange.
UBE and PirateWear.com offers a large selection of ECU apparel. There's a new selection of hats, t-shirts, and tailgate supplies. Plus, the online store at PirateWear.com has been redesigned to serve you better. UBE and PirateWear.com, located in the heart of Uptown Greenville, and proud supporters of the Pirates for over 35 years.
This is Dr. Phil Perdue with Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. My colleagues and I recognize how difficult this time is for everyone in our community. We continue to see patients during the week while taking precautions to keep everyone safe. Our extended care clinic is now open on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. so you can avoid the emergency department for your urgent orthopedic care. For more information, please contact us at 757-2663 or visit our website at orthoeast.com.
Hi, this is Billy Parker, and football is here. Tailgate at home with family and friends this season and let Parker's Barbecue do all the cooking. While tailgating at your house, let us provide all the food with our delicious chicken, barbecue, seafood, and sides. We can customize packages for any size group, big or small. Give us a call today and place your order. Parker's and football, a winning combination. Also shipping nationwide at parkersbbq.com. Parker's Barbecue is how friends and family come together.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
Every team knows that the two-point play can be a winning move. That's why I'm here. State Farm agent Timothy Sawyer and my team are here to help you go for two by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score combining your home and auto. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, Timothy Sawyer, at 493-0002 today.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, W224EI Greenville, WDLX Washington, and W281CH Washington. You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by Select Bank and Trust. Banking is banking until the service is not the same. Wouldn't you like to deal with a bank that is responsive to your needs, can make local decisions, and cares about you, the customer? Try Select Bank and Trust. Bank local. Bank select. SelectBank.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Villa Verde on 10th Street and Villa Verde Dos by the hospital are open for you, serving unique and healthy dishes from the Dominican Republic. Order online at myvillaverde.com or the Villa Verde app. Order a family meal that feeds 6 to 7 people, and they'll have it ready for you for curbside pickup today. Whether it's dine-in or take-out, Villa Verde is a platform for good. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
Thank you, Shirley. I love Villa Verde, and I've had one of those family meals on my own. Hour number 2 underway here on PRL, and we will shift back to tonight's NBA draft and what could be a pivotal point for Michael Jordan's Charlotte Hornets. And we had a chance earlier to catch up with Spencer Percy from the Buzzbeat podcast. Let's get his thoughts and his nerve level as a diehard Hornets fan as to what might happen tonight with the number 3 pick. Joined now by Spencer Percy from Buzzbeat Podcast as we are inching closer and closer to one of the more important drafts in Charlotte Hornets' recent history. And Spencer, I put a lot of hyperbole on that, but I don't think it's too far outside the realm of craziness to say that this is a very important night and maybe a very important week for this franchise.
Well, it certainly is. You know, this is the highest the Hornets have been in the draft in quite a long time. As many probably know that follow this team, they've been, you know, quote unquote stuck in the middle. Not quite good enough for the playoffs consistently, but not bad enough to land, you know, a top 3 pick very consistently. The last time they were this high was when they drafted Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and then a few years later drafted Cody Zeller at number 4. So have done okay with one of those picks with Zeller. The other one, obviously not so good. Drafted MKG at number 2. So this tonight is very important, especially when you consider they overachieved expectations last year with developing players like Devontae Graham. I think Terry Rozier was better than a lot of folks expected coming over from Boston in the Kemba Walker sign-and trade. Cody Martin, P.J. Washington, there's some pieces here in Charlotte. They're young, they're still very far away, but they can't swing and miss tonight, that's for sure.
It's an interesting dichotomy, I feel, for this franchise right now. Stuck in the middle is the worst place you can be in professional sports, and that's where the Hornets have been. But you have the 3rd pick tonight, and the potential to draft a high-impact player for a long time coming up tonight. But there's also a ton of cap space for this team to work with when free agency officially begins later on this week. So there's a strange opportunity here for the Hornets to get a piece of the puzzle tonight that can last a long time, but also get a piece to the puzzle later on this week that could impact them right away. It's a unique spot that Mitch Kupchak is in right now, that this Hornets team hasn't had a lot of opportunities like this to do in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really the greatest strength of this franchise right now is the versatility they have to build the roster. Charlotte is even next summer when they have probably somewhere in between $30 and $40 million in cap space, which would be about 10, 15 million greater than they have this summer, this offseason rather. They're never going to get, or at least not yet, we're far away from that, get a key superstar free agent, right? So, to your point, and it's just like the draft tonight, they got to hit those singles. To use a baseball analogy, hit a double when you have the opportunity. Keep bringing in assets. So they don't have to be players that will be a part of your franchise for 10 years, but they do have to be players that can help improve this roster at a later date, maybe via trade, right? So they just have to keep building the asset base. Free agency next week, I agree with you. I think it's very interesting for Charlotte because they're one of 4 teams with cap space this summer. Next summer, you're going to have probably at least half the league with cap space. So the opportunity that Charlotte has this summer is they don't have a lot of competition out there for the talent that is in this free agency class, which isn't as great as next year. But the point still remains, there's less competition out there. They need to try to get some pieces that fit their timeline. A Christian Wood out of Detroit, center, is interesting to me. Jakob Poeltl, a center from San Antonio, he'll be a free agent. That's interesting to me. I even think about, I'm not projecting this would happen, but the Hornets could go get a Serge Ibaka, too. They could go offer Serge Ibaka, between $15 and $20 million a year. He doesn't fit their age timeline, but they could bring him in, a veteran presence, continue to build this team, continue to develop the young players, and then, of course, you're going to be able to trade Serge Ibaka at a later date. So there's a lot of different directions this team can go in, and it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Spencer Percy joining us here on PRL from BuzzBeat Podcast. Find him on Twitter at QCH Spencer for all of your Hornets draft needs tonight. Let's talk tonight, the 3rd pick in the last, I would say probably a week or so. It's shifted quite a bit to there was a question mark as to who might be there at 3 to now it seems almost locked in that it should be Lamellar Ball. There's also the possibility that Minnesota trades out of that number 1 pick and then things get a little bit strange with Anthony Edwards up there, but James Wiseman probably going to Golden State at 2. If LaMelo's the guy, what can he bring to Charlotte immediately? And of those 3 guys, is that the one you'd like to see picked?
So what LaMelo can bring is a supremely talented passer. He has floor vision and an understanding of the game of basketball, and I think an IQ on the offensive side with the ball in his hands far beyond his years. I mean, there's no question about that. I think I would. So to answer the second part of the question, I'm not as high as LaMelo as I think the kind of the general consensus. I do think his background matters. This is a kid, that at 16 years old was playing overseas in Lithuania with his brother. Came back for his final year of high school, came back to the States, went to Spire Academy in Ohio. This is a kid that's been on a reality TV show, again, as a kid. and then last year played overseas in Australia. On a radio hit earlier today, I said it this way. I think LaMelo is a really, really fascinating social experiment because of his background, because of where he's come from, because of his experiences, just because of how unique and different it's been. That makes me nervous for Charlotte. I think that if LaMelo was drafted by a Golden State, or just throw out the team name, if he was drafted by a franchise that had a kind of a concrete identity and had some veterans there that were the leaders and were the voice in the locker room and said, this is the way it's going to be, you get on board or you're not going to fit here. If LaMelo found a way to get into a situation like that, I would feel much more comfortable with the prospect of him being successful. I don't think Charlotte is that place. And I'm not saying Charlotte has a bad locker room or has a bad culture. I'm just saying Charlotte has a lot of young pieces and are still searching for an identity.
Right.
I don't think LaMelo Ball is the guy you want to hand the keys to your franchise to. And that's just my opinion. That goes against, I think, really what is the majority opinion on him now. Most people seem to be not concerned about that. I understand his talent. I see it. There's certainly some holes in his game. Not a great defender. A lot of questions about the shot. Motor doesn't run as hot as you'd like to see consistently, but he's super talented. But it's really not that part that I'm zeroing in on. What I'm zeroing in on is the context of the fit in Charlotte. I don't think if I'm Mitch Kupchak or Michael Jordan, I want to hand the keys to the car to LaMelo Ball. And that's probably just my conservative nature. But I would, if I were Charlotte and I was there at 3 and LaMelo got to me, I'd be looking to trade this pick.
For what it's worth, Michael Jordan did give like a stamp of approval to drafting Ball tonight. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest, but at least Michael Jordan has signed off on it if LaMelo is there at 3. The trading of the pick is also a possibility. What's the worst thing this team could do with the 3rd pick tonight, in your mind?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I think that the worst thing they could do with this pick, I think the worst thing they could do is probably trading it for a mediocre package. So let's put it this way. If the Knicks called Charlotte, because the Knicks moved up earlier today they moved up in the 1st round. So they now have the 8th pick and the 23rd pick. So if the Knicks called Charlotte and said, hey, look, we'll give you number 8, number 23, and Julius Randle. I'm just throwing out a guy that I don't think is a very talented player, but it's on a high salary for the 3rd pick. Like, that's the kind of deal where you don't do that for Charlotte. Okay, so if the Knicks call and they say 8-23 Randle, you say, no. We'll do 8-23, and we get our pick of R.J. Barrett or just, I'm sorry, now I've lost the name of their center, Mitchell Robinson.
Right.
We get our pick between those 2 players plus 8 and 23. That's the kind of deal that would make sense. So I think whether Charlotte takes Ball, Wiseman, or Edwards, I think all 3 of those guys have a chance to make it in the NBA and be really, really talented players. And I think they all have equal chances to plateau or to torpedo and not work out. So I don't really like whoever they take with the 3rd pick. That's not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is trading back for a package that doesn't make much sense and doesn't return enough assets.
Speaking of, I'll let you go on a possible the trade rumor firing around this franchise over the last couple of days. And when a buddy of mine is a diehard Hornets fan, texted me about this over the weekend, and I think he's scared. And I think I find it fascinating as someone watching from the outside. Russell Westbrook is surrounding this franchise now. That name is being floated around quite a bit. Earlier today, it was said the Hornets aren't interested in trading the 3rd pick for Westbrook in a package. But with everything surrounding the fire of Westbrook to Charlotte, in your mind, is that an actual possibility of occurring?
I think it's possible. I don't think it's likely. I would give it, less than a 25% chance of happening now. I think that, and Mark Stein from the New York Times has reported, if for some reason the Hornets didn't end up with Ball tonight, Lamellar Ball, that would increase the probability that Michael Jordan gives the green light to go ahead and trade for Russell Westbrook. And I'm not totally 100% against the idea of trading for Russell Westbrook. I wouldn't advise it simply because he's got 3 years, $133 million left on his deal. He's 32 years old with injury history and also has a history of having teammates don't really like to play with him. So I wouldn't advise this for Charlotte, a rebuilding franchise. But let's play hypothetical. If the Rockets, okay, let me back up. If the Hornets didn't get Lamellar Ball tonight, post-draft, Rockets call the Hornets back and they go, look, we understand we're not getting, a real valuable future asset for Russell Westbrook. So we'll do the expiring contract of Nick Batum and Terry Rozier for Russell Westbrook. Then I say, okay, look, Charlotte's they're a franchise in need of some change. They need something to sell merchandise, to put butts in the seats when we can have fans in the seats again, to get a few more nationally televised games per year. Like, they need these things. I understand that from a business perspective. It makes sense to me. But when you start talking about sending out a future first-round pick, the salary that would be needed to make this trade work, and then maybe another sweetener like a Rozier, that's where I draw the line and say that it's just not worth it for Charlotte. If it doesn't include some form of future draft capital, then I would, and the Hornets did it, then I would understand. I still wouldn't love it, but I would get it. And I wouldn't think it'd be the end of the world for them, if that makes sense.
What's your trepidation level heading into tonight as a Hornets fan that has seen this franchise just kind of year after year be them and just kind of be there? Where is the nerve level for you and that fan base entering tonight?
I think it's high. I think it's high for the entire fan base. These three guys that we're now kind of assuming are going to go 1, 2, 3 in some order, and I said this earlier, Edwards, Ball, and Wiseman, they are all extremely volatile prospects. So, and that's why, to me, it doesn't really matter that much if the Hornets end up with one of these three, which one it is. I can tell you which ones I prefer in order, but I just think we're not going to know for another year if it's one of those three the Hornets take, if it's going to work out or not. I mean, I just think these guys have huge ceilings. They have pretty decent ceilings as players. I think they can all fall through the floor and be total busts. And so, as a fan base, I think the Hornets fans should be happy they're picking in the top three. At the same time, this really just is not the year to be in the top three. And that's not to say this pick won't work out for Charlotte, but there is a higher probability of chance that they're going to pick a bust tonight than I would say usually in the draft with the top three pick a team would have. Now, that said, it doesn't matter who they pick tonight. They're still not going to be very good next year. And the 2021 draft is the one you want to be up there in. So, if the Hornets can somehow have another top 5 pick next year, I would feel very confident they're going to get a real key piece next year if it doesn't come this year.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how's the show? This will be a fun one for you tonight here, Spencer. Spencer Percy, Buzzbeat Podcast. Find him on Twitter at QCH Spencer. Enjoy the night as best as you can, and hold on tight. It'll be over soon.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Spencer. The fatalistic Spencer Percy from Buzzbeat Podcast. When you are a Hornets fan, you just kind of look on the pessimistic side of things, I feel, and that ended in a very pessimistic way.
Well, I got to be honest with you. The one thing I'm looking forward to, not the draft, not the NBA season, what the new Charlotte Hornets court is going to look like, because I don't know if you've seen the pictures on it, and they're uniforms that say Buzz City on it. I'm not really into wearing jerseys that much, but
wearing basketball jerseys out and about is a weird look.
It is a weird look. Now, I mean, if I'm hanging out around the house, I might wear one. But,
right.
Or if I'm going to a specific...
If you're going to a game.
Yeah, like a game, or like if I'm doing like a watch party and everybody else is wearing jerseys, okay, I might do that. But I'm kind of intrigued by, the designs. So, I might check that out. But, yeah, the draft doesn't do anything for me anyway.
Spencer joined us on the Fix NC Live line. If you've got damage, use a contractor that works for you, not your insurance company. Visit fixednc.com today. Fixed NC, restore, renew, maintain. He ended on a down note, but he's actually very right. We'll talk about that after this here on Pirate Radio Live on a Wednesday.
While other folks come and go, Greenville Pool and Supply has been your local pool store in Greenville and Eastern North Carolina for over 40 years. Are you finding yourself spending more time at home than ever before? If so, turn your backyard into a vacation destination. Greenville Pool has pools for any size backyard. Choose from the very popular fiberglass, classic vinyl, or custom concrete. If you order your pool now, it could be in by this spring. If you're ready for a pool, contact the pros at Greenville Pool and Supply.
Hey, this is Jay from Villa Verde. Did you know that Villa Verde opened up its second location? Yes, it's Villa Verde Dos on Arlington Boulevard across the hospital. This new location is a fast, casual environment where you can make your own bowls for only $9.95. Choose from our fresh ingredients from our toppings bars or enjoy an amazing rotisserie chicken. We promise you can be in and out in less than 15 minutes. For a quick, healthy meal at an affordable price, visit us at Villa Verde Dos on Arlington Boulevard. Villa Verde, a platform for good.
Hi, I'm Annalie Newhoff.
And I'm Rob Campbell.
And we are with CopyPro. We have been locally owned and operated here in Eastern North Carolina for almost 50 years. CopyPro is the leader in office technology.
Does your business struggle with keeping printing costs low or producing professional documents? Here at CopyPro, total customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
We have a variety of solutions to help reduce your printing expenses and make your business more productive. Call us today at 1-800-682-6558 or online at copypro.net.
CopyPro, we are the professional office systems people.
2020 certainly hasn't been the year many of us were hoping for, but one thing has stayed the same. I'm Tim Sutton with Greenville Auto World, and our commitment to our customers has never wavered. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied repeat buyers. Your vehicle is a big investment, and our customers trust us to keep them up and running with outstanding service and value. We're Greenville Auto World, across from Hardee's at Bells Fork.
This is Mark Washington with Max Sports Performance at Max Fitness. Our facility has reopened and is following all safety protocols. The best thing you can do to strengthen your immune system is, of course, to work out and exercise on a regular basis. I can assist you as your performance coach. You can also enjoy the benefits of a private facility. Avoid the crowds and work out at Max Fitness. Now is the time to get healthy. Max Fitness, just off Highway 43 in the old Ace Hardware building behind Speedway in Greenville. Call me, Mark Washington, 902-4877.
Got big dreams for your small business? You're not alone. The Gavigan Agency Insurance Services is a growing business too. That's why they work with Nationwide, the #1 small total business insurer in the U.S. Nationwide can help protect and grow your business so you can focus on making your small business dreams come true. Give the Gavigan Agency Insurance Services a call today at 252-756-1400. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Great food, great atmosphere, and great service is Ottavola Market Cafe. Ottavola is simply a restaurant that focuses on that, being a great restaurant. There's something for everyone at Ottavola. The menu offers a variety of great choices like pastas, pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, and seasonal rotating selections. Lunch or dinner, Ottavola is always the right call. Call ahead and get Ottavola to go, or stop by the bar for a drink with friends. It's simple. Come and eat at Ottavola Market Cafe, Red Banks Road next to Food Lion, and OttavolaMarket.com. Ottavola, pirates supporting pirates.
In studio today with Cold Cut, also known as Tony McKee to his friends and family. Why F3?
I come to F3 because it's family for me. My biological family, they're way out of town, and F3 has been a family, no joke. The fellowship and the camaraderie and being able to hold each other accountable, that certainly is important for young men that come our way. So I'm glad to be able to be a part of someone's life. And sometimes church is once a week, and F3 can be every day.
One letter, one number, F3. Learn more today at f3enc.com.
Hey everybody, this is David Glenn, and you're listening to my favorite station in Eastern North Carolina, Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by Select Bank and Trust. Banking is banking until the service is not the same. Wouldn't you like to deal with a bank that is responsive to your needs, can make local decisions, and cares about you, the customer? Try Select Bank and Trust. Bank local. Bank select. SelectBank.com. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. Got damage? Damage from wood rot? Fixed. Damage from smoke or fire? Fixed. Damage caused by water? Fixed. If you've got damage, use a contractor that works for you and not your insurance company. Visit fixednc.com today or call 999-0001. That's 3 9s, 3 zeros, and a 1. Fixed NC, restore, renew, maintain. And as we head back into Pirate Radio Live, Corey, you and I were talking earlier in the show about games getting canceled for tomorrow night with Utah State and Wyoming, and then of
Crushed
course
about that one.
Yes, and Central Arkansas and Louisiana on Saturday. You also discussed about Kansas and Texas. We've got another one. UNLV was scheduled to take on Colorado State at Colorado State. UNLV has had positive tests, so between the positive cases and the contact tracing, they don't have enough players to go to Colorado State. That game has been canceled. However, both Colorado and Colorado State have an open date this weekend, so it could be that the Pac-12 will discuss possibly having those teams play each other coming up this weekend. We'll find out.
It's a shame those two programs are awful right now. Otherwise, that'd be a watchable game. But, hey, you take what you can get in 2020 COVID football time.
Well, it's like we've talked about it all year long. Things happen, from literally moment to moment. I mean, we thought we had seen just about all the cancellations that were coming through, and then another one pops up. So, go figure.
Yeah, the day's young still. It's only 4:31 here in the Eastern time zone. And we had games already, like Texas A&M was canceled earlier this week. Miami was canceled earlier this week. So, yeah.
A couple of AAC teams canceled this week.
Yeah, Houston and SMU is done, and USF Navy is done for this weekend, and now the American is back in scramble mode, I would imagine, to figure out what to do with some of those teams, particularly, they were trying to get Navy games back on the schedule. We talked about that yesterday. SMU, they're probably going to try and get that game back on the schedule after the Mustangs come here next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, stay tuned. Be malleable.
Yeah, because especially with Navy, because that puts them, they've got to get those two games in. I believe it's Memphis and Temple, is it? The last one?
Memphis and
or is it
Tulsa?
Tulsa. I knew it was a T team. I just couldn't remember which one it was. If they get those two games in, which is the AAC said that they were working on trying to fit those two games in, then they have the annual Army-Navy game, which is for the Commander's Cup, and that only gives them a week turnaround to prepare for that game. So,
and they're playing it at West Point this year, I believe.
Yeah,
they're not playing at a neutral site because neutral site means you could have fans, and they aren't going to bring fans in.
Exactly. So it'll be very interesting to see how Navy coordinates these last remaining games.
Still on schedule for ECU and Temple this Saturday. Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator, and Blake Harrell, defensive coordinator, had their press conferences just about 45 minutes ago for the week, and they are still in prep mode as though nothing is changing for Saturday. And we'll have sound from that press conference on tomorrow's show. There is, frankly, the kind of usual game week prep stuff, and we'll hear from Donnie and from Blake tomorrow on PRL. We've got Bryce Williams coming in to join us in hour number 3. We've got Jeff Charles that'll be on the Fixed NC Live line to start hour number 3 as well. So a lot more coming up here as we hit the back half of PRL on a Wednesday night. We just heard from Spencer Percy. I'm just going to wager an educated guess that a good 95% of the Greenville community was unaware that, one, well, they might have been more aware that the draft was tonight, but two, that the Hornets were picking as high as they are, and that there's legitimate talk surrounding the Charlotte Hornets acquiring Russell Westbrook, former MVP. My question here, as still a relative newcomer to the area, What can the Charlotte Hornets do? What can they become to be of interest here? Because they're not. They're way off the reservation. And I would make an educated guess here that there was more interest here in Greenville when the Hurricanes got the second pick in 2018 as opposed to the Hornets getting the third pick this year.
Yeah, but you got to look at it from the standpoint, well, I think it's one of two things.
I mean, proximity is one thing.
Well, yeah, but you also got to look at the Panthers. The Panthers are in the same city as the Hornets, and the Panthers have, I think one of it is visibility. Mm-hmm. I think, with the Hurricanes, obviously the Hurricanes are closer to us.
You can drive
to a Canes game. I've been to several, and they're fun, and they're engaging.
You're not going to ruin your next day at work or at school by going to a Canes game on a Wednesday night.
Absolutely. That has a lot to do with it. I also think, you got to win. You got to win games because, the Panthers have had several successful seasons. Obviously, they had a Super Bowl run a couple of times. And then, of course, the Canes with the Stanley Cup playoffs and winning the Stanley Cup. They've been to the postseason. Charlotte has struggled. And honestly, I mean, if you think back, at one time, the Hornets were relevant. And the
Hornets, in the 90s.
Yeah, back in the 90s when you had guys like Muggsy Bogues and, Larry Johnson. But, so they were relevant at one time, but they have not been consistent. And part of that has been bad draft picks, players that come on the team and they just don't contribute in the way that many people hoped. And then a lot of people point the finger at Michael Jordan and say that, he's not, running that organization as well as he potentially could have. So there's a lot of it, but I think a good portion of it has to do with the visibility. You don't hear a lot about Hornets basketball unless you happen to be someone who is, in close proximity to a fan. Like, for example,
intern Chandler is a bit of a fan.
Chandler's a fan. I mean, Clip watches the Hornets games when he can, but there's not that many of them, and part of it, too, is the fashion. I got to throw that in there, too, because you look at teams like, let's say, for example, the Brooklyn Nets. Let's look at the Knicks. Let's look at the Lakers. I mean, it's not just the success of the team; it's how they're marketed, and how and that plays a large part into the visibility of it.
Teams don't get marketed; players do. That's always been kind of part of the NBA.
Yeah, and it's always been that way. But when you don't have a standout player, I mean, shoot, what was his name is escaping me, but there was one player that kind of stood out, and his name just absolutely
for the Hornets.
Yeah. And I just lost it. This is what happens when you turn 45, by the way.
It's also what happens when you've been this type of organization for this many years.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I bet you could ask a good number of people in Greenville who that number 2 pick was for the Hurricanes, and they'd tell you it's Andrei Svechnikov because of what he's turned into.
Yeah.
I'm going to wager not too many people tomorrow will be able to tell you who the Hornets picked tonight at 3.
Oh, there's no question.
Even if it's Lamellar Ball, and that's a pretty well-known name by this point with his family. Here's why the Hornets are fighting uphill regardless of tonight and why they should not be going after Russell Westbrook. This past season, shortened year, 23-42 was their record. That's their worst mark since the 2012-13 season. Prior to that, in 18-19, 39-43, missed the playoffs. 36-46, missed the playoffs. 36-46, missed the playoffs. 4 straight years out of the postseason, all of them just good enough to not be bad. In the NBA, the worst thing you can be is mediocre. That's the Charlotte Hornets.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned him, and I'm going to mention him, and that leads to Michael Jordan. Because for years, as an owner, certainly as a player, he has refused to be bad. But he's not a smart enough owner, and he doesn't have the right basketball minds in place to be good enough to be good as a team.
Right, because there are players that have a high basketball IQ. Now, Michael Jordan on the court had an extremely high basketball IQ, but when you take a look at the business side of basketball, that's where a lot of people make that mistake. And especially with former players that become coaches as well. Some of them are not successful
and higher.
and higher, in the GM position or, whatever the case may be. But a lot of it has to do with there is aspects of the game that you have to look at. There is a level of analytics that go into the game of basketball that some players don't get because they don't have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. And when they are put in that position, they're still thinking about how they are on the court. That IQ is being implemented honestly in the wrong place.
You watch The Last Dance?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, there was a small bit, and I forget which episode it was. It feels like it was a decade ago when that was on. But it highlighted Michael Jordan's desire, what he was told in the early stages of his Bulls career, that in 1 year they were going to play young guys. They were going to not be good.
Right.
And he refused to let that happen. And he essentially lugged that team to wins at the end of the season. Perfectly encapsulates him as the owner of this Hornets franchise. He refuses to let them be bad enough to actually start building.
Yeah.
And that leads to a 4-year deal for Terry Rozier, like last year after losing Kemba Walker. That leads to the discussion about bringing Russell Westbrook in this year. That leads to you have a ton of cap space to use this year, starting Friday when free agency begins. And you really shouldn't be using it to improve your team. You should be bad. You need to be bad because players, free agents, are not coming to you until you show that you have an organization capable of supporting them. That's why Kemba Walker leaves.
Right.
And does what he does in his first year in Boston. That's why you should not be entertaining an overblown, over-the-hill Russell Westbrook right now. You need to start anew. And you actually have small little pieces right now, and you have a couple of deals this coming year. Cody Zeller is expiring. Nick Batum is expiring. Thank God he's expiring. He's actually not an awful player, but he gets paid a fortune to be bad and mediocre. They're both expiring this year. There's a real chance, like Spencer said in that interview, that for next year, whenever next year ends, you can actually hit that button. And you can be like, you know what? We're going to be out of this. We're going to be out of the malaise here. That being said, you can't misfire tonight because whoever you pick at 3 tonight is going to be a long-term part of that. And if that's Lamellar Ball as your shooting guard for the next 10 years, and even as an occasional 1, depending on how you want to play that lineup, that's if you want to put Rozier in there as your 2 and Ball in there as your 1, then that's what you got to go with. And that's, for my money, that's a fine pick. But you cannot entertain the ideas here that we're seeing about bringing in a Westbrook. You cannot do that. Not right now. Because otherwise you will be losing attention even more than what you have over the last 10 years.
Well, and the other thing is like you said that Jordan refuses to let the team be bad. Well, we've all heard this phrase. Sometimes you got to hit rock bottom before you before you can build yourself back up. What you need is a foundation.
Yeah.
And the Hornets haven't had a foundation in years because they've been basically, like you said, mediocre, which is a hodgepodge of some good, some not so good players. And, basically the pulse of the team is just a flat line. There's nothing there. So now, okay, so let's say you get a LaMelo Ball and you keep a Terry Rozier. Then what you do is you take those two pieces and you build around those two guys. And you get the pieces that you need to set that foundation and then start building. But the problem is that, a guy like Michael Jordan refuses. Well, that he's trigger happy, but he just doesn't see. He always talks about, he failed 1,000 times before, he succeeded in the 1,001st, game-winning shot, so to speak. I mean, he talks about failing multiple times before he ever became successful. Well, as an owner, you've got to fail at it as an owner too. Before you can become successful, you've got to screw it up. And like you said, you've got to let them be bad. And for whatever reason, his mindset is not there yet.
And you also got to be willing to keep your voice out of the room.
Yeah.
Because earlier today, article on ESPN, Michael Jordan has signed off, given the okay to draft Lamellar Ball tonight. Mitch Kupchak makes that decision. Stop.
Yeah.
Like let him be. do his job, trust him to do the job of making that team worth a damn, because they're not worth anything.
Yeah.
And then if you allow him to do his job, then in 3 years, maybe even 2 years, you're looking at you can if you hit on your drafts and if you're smart free agency wise and making deals, then being a Golden State, a middle market team, is not out of the realm of possibility. Being what Milwaukee has become is not out of the realm of possibility. That's what Charlotte is before those teams flip the switch.
Mm-hmm.
They're rudderless.
Absolutely.
It's got to change starting tonight. And whoever you get, whoever falls to you at 3, one, don't trade out of it. Whoever falls to you at 3, make him the centerpiece of the restart here. Because otherwise, it's going to be another 36-46 year. And who's going to care?
Nobody.
No one out here will.
No.
Will we talk about who they pick tomorrow on the show? Yeah, probably a little. But then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Because it's the Hornets.
Yeah, because at this point, nobody cares. Now, if they do draft Lamellar Ball, it might raise a few eyebrows.
Yeah, because that'll be a name that people recognize.
Right. And, be like, okay.
Oh, yeah,
right,
he has the weird dad.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's going to be...
And the weird brothers.
And Lonzo's turned into a pretty good player, and that's probably been overlooked a little bit. But, yeah, he comes from quite a family. He comes from a reality show family.
And he has an interesting background because he went overseas.
Went and played pro overseas.
Yeah, and then came back and had a successful high school career. So, there are pieces to LaMelo that makes it interesting if he were to become a Hornet. But honestly, and granted, my opinion is about worth a hill of beans, but if it was up to me, I would say, okay, Michael Jordan, you are the face of the franchise. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. But when it comes to the business side of things, you need to let Mitch Kupchak do his job, keep your hands off of it, let him do what he needs to do, but continue to be the face of the franchise because he keeps dipping his hands in cookie jars he doesn't need to be in.
Yeah. So, let the team pick a direction.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
He's keeping them on one path for the last... How long has he been the owner of this team? 7, 8 years? It's
been a while, yeah.
It's been a bit. And they've had 2 playoff appearances in that decade.
And by the way, the player that I was thinking of...
But they've never been bad enough to pick high. And they weren't even that bad to pick this high this year. They got lucky. They struck gold by getting the top 3. Take this gift and actually utilize it. Tanking is not verboten.
Yeah.
It is a smart thing to do in certain situations, and that is where the Hornets have been for years. It's time to do it.
Yep, and by the way, the player I was thinking of was Jeremy Lin.
Oh.
So that's who was...
Wow.
his name just completely went blank on me. I had it in my mind, and then
frankly, as it should.
In recent years, honestly, who else?
I mean, they've had. Remember Adam Morrison way back in the day?
Oh, jeez.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was their number 2 pick a few years ago, and he actually has been pretty good.
We had a washed-up Dwight Howard come in, and ever since then, he's kind of made a big impact on the Lakers. But when y'all started this discussion, I had a few points I was going to discuss, but Shirley did a good job of touching up on some of those subjects. About 25 years ago, if you ask Eastern North Carolina residents about the Hornets, there's probably a good chance a lot of them are going to get interested and start talking to you about the Hornets because you think about those teams with Del Curry, Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, the success of that team and the impact they had in the NBA at the time. It's like back when the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. I don't know how it was in 2004, but in 2015, 2016, I was a senior in high school. I saw a lot of people that showed up to school the day before or the Friday before the Super Bowl wearing Panther shirts.
Same as when the Canes won the Cup and when they 2 years ago and they made the conference final.
And it's all about success, and y'all talked about that earlier, but also talking about the popularity aspect of things. The NBA is a unique league compared to MLB and the NFL. You got plenty of people that are individual fans. They're not team fans.
Absolutely.
You have a person that has been a Cavaliers fan, a Heat fan, back to a Cavaliers fan, then to a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Why? Because they love LeBron James. There's a lot of people that love different individuals, like maybe a Russell Westbrook or a James Harden or somebody like that, where they follow them to any team that they
to
go.
the end of the earth. Yeah,
The NBA is a unique league with unique fans, and I think that was what that was going to be my input on the discussion.
That is assuredly a small part of why the Hornets are entertaining Russell Westbrook. No question.
Jersey sales. Attendance that would probably be limited during this time.
When people can come back, they would bring people in to see Russell Westbrook. But it is such a short-sighted decision to do that. He doesn't. What does he improve your team to now? When you add in a likely Lamellar Ball, but you probably don't need Lamellar if you're bringing in Westbrook. But when you add in all that young talent, relatively speaking, that the Hornets have, and bring in a Westbrook, what does he do for you?
Absolutely.
7-8 seed in the playoffs. If you want to have short-term, immediate impact, bring in a Westbrook.
Go get Russell Westbrook.
If you want to have a long-standing success and build your fan base back up, don't do it. Because as soon as Russell Westbrook leaves or retires, or he is not that effective because he's 33, 32, somewhere around there, and he's on the downside of the prime of his career, then those people leave. Your curiosity is gone. Be more diligent and realize it's going to take time. Because this franchise has been so quick to, we lost Kemba, bring in Rozier, and give him a ton of money. And what's that going to do? It's not going to bring people in, not going to entice free agents to come in. It's Terry Rozier. He's fine.
It's going to scare him away.
Yeah,
really?
You're throwing money at Terry Rozier. Why? It starts tonight, and it better start tonight. Otherwise, the Hornets will be so far out of your consciousness again that it'll come around once a year when the draft comes along, and we have Spencer on to talk about it, we have Jeff on to talk about it, and that's all you'll care about. We got to get a break in here to close up hour number 2. Hour number 3, around the corner, we'll go back to ECU football. The voice, Jeff Charles, will be with us. Bryce Williams will be here in studio for the final hour. We got a lot to get to here on the Wednesday edition of Pirate Radio Live.
Your CBD store in Greenville has the highest quality CBD products in the country. Your CBD store is the first and only brand that carries USDA certified organic products such as gummies, honey sticks, and high absorption water soluble liquids, which are all made in the United States. They even offer products for your pet. The educated staff will help you answer any questions, and you can stop in anytime to get a free sample. Your CBD store, locally owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, right beside Duck Donuts in Greenville.
Here with Mike Mullis from Fixed NC. And Mike, you were telling me the other day, people ask you all the time, I didn't know you did that. What does that mean?
You know, anything that involves property damage repair, call us first. If it's your crawl space, you've got interior humidity issues, a water loss, your ice maker line breaks, obviously fire and smoke, everybody knows we do those. But anything that involves interior or exterior property damage, we're your repair experts.
Mike, how can everybody get in touch with you?
252-999-0001 or fixednc.com.
My whole business just went up in flames, but my agent was there before the fire was out. We started a plan. I've got 25 employees who could be out of a job if we didn't get this place running again. My independent agent and auto owners insurance, they made sure we didn't skip a beat. I mean, we didn't miss a single payroll. That's incredible.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there.
This is Norm Bryant with Town Insurance in Greenville. Call me today at 756-8300. Go Pirates.
This is Stephen Igo, publisher of HoistTheColors.net. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any college sports program, and no one devotes more coverage to the future of ECU athletics than Hoist the Colors. Want to know who's going to be the next Holt Nailers or Jaden Gardner? We've got all the inside scoop on the Pirates' most talented recruits and top targets 24/7. Sign up now and get your first month of coverage for a single $1. HoistTheColors.net, the most reliable reporting on ECU athletics.
At Tiebreakers, we pride ourselves on serving
big, juicy wings.
I'm talking
big and juicy.
Our chickens are the same ones that kick sand in the other chickens' faces. If our chickens played football, they'd be linebackers. The competition's chickens, they'd be
skinny little kickers.
Trade those kickers in for linebackers.
Tiebreakers is open every day at 11 a.m. Follow Tiebreakers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates.
Hey Pirate fans, this is Cliff Godwin.
Baseball is back at Clark LeClaire Stadium. We will be hosting several youth camps over the next couple months. All camps will be at Clark LeClaire Stadium, and all camps are open to participants between the ages of 7 and 13. Make sure to check out our camp website at cliffgodwinbaseballcamp.com for all camp details and registration information. And, of course, go Pirates.
It's bow time.
The barbecue sandwich from Bojangles is back. Wait, Bojangles has barbecue?
Yeah, keep going.
Well, okay then. We're talking tender pulled pork with a tangy Carolina vinegar kick. Unforgettably topped with our country coleslaw, all on perfectly toasted buns. So if you're like me and missed it last time, get your hands on a barbecue sandwich combo pronto.
It's bow time.
Did you know that every year in the United States, 7,000 people become HVAC technicians? But did you also know that every year, 10,000 HVAC technicians retire? This is HB Moore with Tradesformers, a youth apprenticeship program designed to connect talented students with growing industry trades in our area. November is National Apprenticeship Month, and we encourage anyone interested in joining the growing trade workforce to visit tradesformers.com to learn more and to get started. The possibilities and career paths ahead of you are endless.
This is Pirate Radio, Pirate Radio.
Pirate Radio. Pirate Radio.
You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by Select Bank and Trust. Banking is banking until the service is not the same. Wouldn't you like to deal with a bank that is responsive to your needs, can make local decisions, and cares about you, the customer? Try Select Bank and Trust. Bank local. Bank select. SelectBank.com. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. PRL this afternoon is brought to you by Bud Light, who reminds Pirate fans to always stay in the game and drink responsibly. Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. And, Corey, as we head back into Pirate Radio Live, got another potential game that we need to look at. Emily, I'm going to try to pronounce her last name here, Giambalvo.
God bless you.
Yes, I know. And she is a Washington Post sports writer, and she covers Maryland athletics.
Yes.
And she just tweeted out about 15 minutes ago that Maryland paused practices last Wednesday, after 8 players tested positive for the coronavirus. The team stayed at a hotel Wednesday through Sunday, but they have been unable to return to practice this week. Saturday's game against Michigan State has not been called off, but it does not look promising based on the timeline and the lack of practice. So that's going to be another game that we're going to have to keep an eye on here in the next couple of days.
I was just about to say, we made it through a segment of the show without another game getting canceled, and maybe we didn't. So technically we
like
did.
You said, it was still early.
Redbeard on Twitter did chime in during our Hornets discussion, which will be available later for you on the various outlets at Pirate Radio. The Hornets need to pay Shirley as a consultant.
Well, first of all, thank you, Redbeard. But look, it's just basic common sense to me.
Just have long-term vision.
Yeah.
You got to have long-term vision.
You know, I'm just the type of person. I would love to see the Hornets have as much visibility and prominence in the state of North Carolina first. Like the Panthers and the Hurricanes do, but until they kind of get off their rears and decide that what they've been doing has not been successful, try something else. If it doesn't work, try something else. Look at it from a different point of view. Take a different perspective at it, and because you can't. What is it? What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we're seeing with the Hornets. And
the Hornets are insane.
Yes.
They're going to trade this third pick
tonight.
Yeah, they're going to trade it and pick they're like Cassius Winston or something like that.
And if they do that, then what are we going to do? We go, Same old Hornets.
And then we'll forget about them.
Yep,
it's the Hornets. Hour number 3 coming up. We just saw Bryce Williams walk in. He's been given the nickname on Twitter is Big Bryce Williams. And I just saw him for the first time, and he's a large human. And then, so he'll sit in for hour number 3. The voice, Jeff Charles, joins us to kick off hour number 3 as we get set for ECU and Temple coming up Saturday in Philadelphia. Stay tuned. The final hour of the Wednesday edition of PRL is on the way.
Weekdays are a great time to visit North Carolina state parks. The best time to learn about nature is to be able to look, listen, and feel its natural beauty. A visit to the North Carolina state parks is perfect for homeschoolers, scout groups, and teachers looking for a fun field trip during the week. You'll be amazed at all the natural wildlife you'll see when you experience the beauty of each North Carolina state park. Visit ncparks.gov to get all the information on the closest park near you. In studio with Gloria from Kinetic Physical Therapy. What kind of wellness services do you guys offer?
We have massage therapy with your choice of either a relaxation massage, a therapeutic stretching session, or a prenatal massage. We have foot reflexology. We partner with Pirate Cryo for cryotherapy, also known as cold therapy, and we have health and wellness coaching. And if you're interested in holistic body therapy and saving money, we encourage you to check out our wellness membership plan where you can have all of our wellness services at a constant discounted price. You can learn more today at kptonline.com.
Hey parents, are you racking your brain of what to do for your child's next birthday party? Do you need help with after-school care and homework assistance? This is Ashley from the Warrior Zone, Greenville's first ever and only Ninja Warrior training facility. Our authentic Ninja Warrior training facility is the perfect place for birthday parties, team building, youth group nights, and after-school care. Our motto at the Warrior Zone is where community, fun, and fitness collide. What are you waiting for? The Warrior Zone, Old Tar Road next to Planton C, and warriorzone.ninja.
More meat ounces means more meat bounces. Get any papadilla like the new double cheeseburger papadilla for just $6. Papa John's.
Hey, Pirate fans, the Papadillas are part sandwich, part pizza, and only $6 each. The new cheeseburger Papadilla is an MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates.
If you are push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated, welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see Ron Ayers Motorsports. It will guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11 north of the airport in Greenville.
Welcome to Jack Brown's. What can I get for you?
You guys got chicken strips?
Nah, we don't have those.
Can I get a salad?
No, we don't carry salads, ma'am.
Well, what do you have?
We are glad you asked. This ain't no regular. This is American Wagyu beef.
These ain't your Uncle Timmy's charcoal bricks. Kiss the cook, kiss my grits.
Our burgers are 4 ounces of hand-pressed, made-to-order, perfectly seasoned ecstasy in a potato roll.
4 ounces not big enough for you, big man? Double patty time!
Or just grab a cheeseburger.
Jack Brown's, 805 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville.
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get the latest phones free. Upgrade to Fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. You're You're listening to Hour 3 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by the Auto Store Group. Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Eat healthy at Clean Eats and sign up for a meal plan at cleaneats.com or stop in and eat at the cafe or grab a meal to go. Clean Eats is located on Red Banks Road and online at cleaneats.com. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
And stay tuned here in hour number 3. It is a 2 for Wednesday. The booty bag has 2 prizes in it during this hour, so get your phones at the ready because the intrepid Shirley Rhodes will be asking for you to call here in a couple moments' time for you to win some goodies here on a Wednesday night. Welcome in hour number 3. Bryce Williams is sitting into my left now. I'm Corey Gloor in place of Clip Brock. He's doing better. He is on the road to recovery. It is not COVID related. He just had a poor time for a cold. So that's good news here. He's back on the track to health here, and it is always a treat when this man joins the airwaves. It is the voice of the ECU Pirates. It is Jeff Charles. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Corey. Hope you are, and Bryce and Shirley, and our thoughts are with Clip. I know he'll be back in the saddle real soon. Look forward to seeing him on Saturday for our pregame show before the kickoff of the game Saturday at noon.
This won't surprise you, Jeff, but Clip has been a little nervous being out of the studio, and the amount of texting I've gotten over the last 2 days while I've been filling in for him. How did this go? Did everything go okay here? How did this go? He's very concerned about his baby, but it's in at least somewhat solid hands, I feel, here tonight.
Yeah, well, he does a great job, and I know you'll do a good job filling in for him, Corey, and you know, the Pirate Radio ship just keeps sailing on, right?
It keeps on moving regardless of who's at the bow at the moment. And let's get things going here towards the Temple game, Jeff. Bryce and I were just talking, actually, before we jumped on the air. It feels like forever ago, the Cincinnati game, because it was a Friday nighter. We remember the ending. That's kind of the thing we take away from Cincinnati. I did ask your broadcast partner this, Kevin Monroe, earlier in the show. What was your main takeaway from that game? Was there a main takeaway from that game for you, the loss of the Bearcats?
Well, they just didn't play well, and they were overmatched. East Carolina was, Corey. I think we knew that going into the game. Cincinnati is really strong, and Luke Fickell's in his 4th year in his program, and he's been able to recruit very well. I mean, there's a reason why they're number 7 in the nation and undefeated, and the Pirates had matchup problems just about at every position because East Carolina is young. East Carolina is still trying to find its way. It's still a relatively new program with Coach Houston. So going into the game, we all knew that this had the potential of being a tough game on the road for the Pirates, and of course that's what we saw. So, you know, you look at some of the different statistics in the game and you try and break it down, and sure, Holton Ahlers is in the spotlight because he is the quarterback, and he did not have a very good day, but the offensive line, again, had problems protecting him. Defensively, the Pirates had a lot of breakdowns in the secondary, which you don't want to see. But it was just a tough day for ECU all the way around. I'm sitting here doing some homework for the game on Saturday. And guys, you realize now that Holton has been sacked 9 times in the last 2 games. And that was not the case earlier in the year. The offensive line was protecting him better. But again, this past week, a bunch of sacks. And, you know, when you're with a young football program like East Carolina is now, it's always like there are too many holes in the dike. I mean, one week the Pirates are able to throw the ball, and then the next week they can't. One week they're able to run the ball, and then the next week they can't. It's kind of like you plug up a couple of holes in the dike, and then 2 more spring out somewhere else. And that's just kind of where the program is right now on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball.
That number, the 9 sacks in the last 2 weeks, is surprising to me, not necessarily because the offensive line has had its issues over the last couple of weeks, and now it's thinner heading into this one with Nashad Strother out, but Holton is a mobile guy, and he hasn't been able to escape as much as we've been used to seeing him this year. Part of that, it hasn't been really designed for him to run as much as we saw last season. Part of it is just maybe him wanting to be a little bit more in the pocket, but we haven't seen his escapability as much as we were used to seeing.
And Corey, you're right. He just has not been running the football like he did last year. I mean, coming into the game this week, Holton has 38 yards of rushing, and of course he was a lot more a part of the running game last year. I think part of it is there's no experience behind him, and they don't want him running the ball a whole lot because Mason Garcia is not ready to play, and Alex Flynn hasn't played. Once Brian Gagg left the program to go back to Florida, he had a little bit of experience. He was the most experienced of the backups, but then once he left, I mean, there was basically no experience at all behind Holton. So they don't want him running the ball very much, and they especially don't want him taking on linebackers and trying to run people over, which he was doing his first couple of years. It was tough to get him to slide because he's such a competitive guy. He started to do a better job of that. But, yeah, the offense has changed that way, and he's not running the ball nearly as much as he did. They're trying to keep him healthy, trying to keep him upright here as much as they can through these last two games.
Jeff Charles joining us here on the Fixed NC Live line on a Wednesday edition of Pirate Radio Live. Let's now spin this to the Temple game on Saturday. The obvious storyline, we've talked about it a lot already this week, and we're only halfway through the thing. Temple's quarterback situation. It is freshman Matt Duncan that is going to get his first career start. There is so little film on the guy. He's 0 for 2 on the year, and Mike Houston has had to go to high school tape and work on that to try and get a little bit of a scout on this guy. How do you approach a guy that you just haven't seen before defensively, not really knowing what his skill set is?
Well, they're doing the best they can, Corey. As you mentioned, they're looking at his high school tapes. He's from Somerville, South Carolina. He played at Ashley Ridge High School. He's 6'1", 215 pounds, so he's a good-sized kid as a true freshman. An outstanding career there in high school. He threw for 6,800 yards and 40 touchdowns. And as Coach Houston said earlier this week, he's familiar with the family because he has a brother who's a quarterback at Western Kentucky. So in Somerville, South Carolina, the Duncan family is well-known as being a good football family, and so there's a little bit of familiarity there. But, again, you're preparing for a guy that you really haven't really seen much. So that makes it difficult. But you talk about difficult, if you're Temple, you're down to your fourth-string quarterback. Anthony Russo is a fine quarterback in this league, and he is in the protocol for COVID. And so he will not play this week. And this guy, on a given day, he's really good. I mean, he's a big, strong, 6'4", 240-pound quarterback who's a pocket passer, and he throws the ball extremely well. He's led Temple to a lot of wins in his career, so that's a big loss for them. And then they've got another kid that they were bringing along, Trad Beatty, and he's another big kid. He's 6'5", 220, and they like him a lot, and then he's injured. He can't play. And then the kid that played last week, Real Mitchell, as I understand it, and talking to some folks at Temple this week, he is still in the program, and he started last week, but they don't expect him to play the rest of the year. So all of a sudden now it's Matt Duncan and then another kid who's a walk-on from the Philadelphia area named Camel Gray, who's the backup. And I was also told that Brandon Mack, who's one of their outstanding receivers, and we've seen him for a long time, he's a graduate student now at Temple, he's actually taken reps this week in practice, and so you've got a wide receiver. Who knows, maybe we'll get some snaps in the game on Saturday. So if you're the Pirates and you're trying to figure out how to stop these guys, you really don't know who the quarterback is going to be. So you kind of have to really focus on yourself and hopefully get better with your personnel. And as we all know, East Carolina has a long way to go. Defensively, there are reasons for that. Coach Harrell's in his first year putting his scheme in. So many young kids playing on the defensive side of the ball. But you look at the numbers at the end of the day, and East Carolina is giving up 39.7 points per game, and you just can't win many football games when your defense is giving up points like that.
How aggressive do you think Blake Harrell will be, at least at the start of this game, with Duncan getting his first start at quarterback, Temple thin, running back now too, but they're going to try and run it. And no Warren Saba for this week with that shoulder injury he suffered last week. Is there going to be a push early here from Blake Harrell to get into the backfield right away and try and set the tone aggressively?
You would certainly think so, Corey, and that's going to be one of my first questions to Blake when I sit down and talk with him tomorrow for our pregame show. You would think they'll try and rattle a young quarterback. This kid's never been under fire, and you would think that they will try and do that. Now, if he has any time at all, and if he has any type of arm, which I think he does, they've got good receivers. I mean, these guys at Temple have been around for a long time. Jaden Blue and Randall Jones, and I mentioned Brandon Mack. Those kids are veteran players who have played on some really good teams at Temple and are a fine core of receivers. So if he gets any time at all, he's got guys who can make catches. And so you've got to be aware of that. But, they are so decimated with injuries and guys who have left their program. Their leading rusher just left their program, came into the football office at Temple a couple of weeks ago and said, I'm out of here, and that really hurt them. So their first-string running back now is a walk-on, and another kid who's a true freshman. So, everybody's had it tough this year with COVID and also with a lot of injuries because I think a lot of guys, didn't get that practice time in early. And we've had a lot of injuries in college football, and a lot of these guys, of course, have been affected with COVID. And so it's been tough for everybody. I think a lot of programs around the country are kind of limping to the finish here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and when you crunch the numbers and you look at ECU and you look at Temple, you can certainly understand why both of these teams are struggling as badly as they are. As I mentioned, East Carolina giving up 39.7 a game. Temple's giving up 38.7. Neither team executes very well in the red zone as far as scoring touchdowns is concerned. Both teams are minus as far as their turnover margin is concerned. Both teams give up a lot of sacks. So, you add all those things up, and it's a recipe to having a losing season, and that's what we're going to see between a couple of teams who should be hungry for a victory on Saturday. I mean, both of these teams should be looking forward to getting out on the field Saturday and finally getting a win. Each team only has one win, and they have that common opponent, South Florida. Both teams beat South Florida, and then that's it for the season.
Jeff, we'll let you go on this. Usually this month is, in this industry, known as crossover season. When the end of football runs into the start of basketball. That's not quite the case fully this year. However, next week, you will have a little bit of taste of crossover season when basketball tips off a week from tonight, and then you still have one more football game on the docket. How has the basketball prep been going? And I must say, I am legitimately excited for what Joe Dooley and that club has in store this year, barring that we can actually play a normal year this year.
Well, I am too, because a lot of the kids are coming back, and he's got a veteran crew and guys that know his system now. So that gives Pirate fans hope. But you're right, we do have the crossover next week, Corey, and it starts on Wednesday in Fort Myers, Estero, actually, down at the Lee County Civic Center. Pirates have played there before. It's basically a hockey arena that has these preseason tournaments that go on in college basketball. They use that building for a lot of different events. But ECU will play a very good team right off the bat. Indiana State, out of the Missouri Valley Conference, of course, Larry Bird's old school, they're really good. They're one of the better teams in the Valley. So the Pirates are jumping into the fire. They've got 3 returning starters, and one of their returning starters is one of the best players in the league. So that's not an easy opener for Joe and company coming up on Wednesday, and then they'll play Thanksgiving Day, and they'll also play on Friday. So they will get 3 games, hopefully, under their belts next week, and then they'll have some time off before they play that home game against Radford. They've got 4 home games coming up in December, and they won't have to travel. So that's the good news. Once they get back from Fort Myers, they've got these home games coming up out of conference before. Hopefully the conference season will start, but we're still waiting for the schedule from the American Athletic Conference. We understand it's on paper, but they haven't released it yet, so everybody's just kind of sitting around on pins and needles waiting for that schedule to come out.
Jeff, have a terrific call Saturday as ECU takes on Temple, and then get the hot tea, get the lozenges ready for your 4 and 4 next week, all right?
Appreciate it, Corey. And yes, we're doing the games remotely like we have, and like just about everybody in the country is doing these days. We'll be doing the basketball tournament remotely, and of course the football game as well. So it's just a way of life these days with this COVID situation. But I appreciate it. It's good to visit with you.
I'll pick your brain on the calling games remotely privately. Don't you worry, Jeff.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Jeff, you have a good night.
You too.
That's Jeff Charles, voice of the ECU Pirates in the Fixed NC Live line. If you got damage, he's a contractor that works for you, not your insurance company. Visit fixednc.com today. Fixed NC, restore, renew, and maintain. Say hello quickly here to Bryce Williams. Pleasure to see you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I'll get your thoughts to kind of wrap up the craziness that was the end of the Cincinnati game. We'll talk about this game against Temple, and you got one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got
sure.
one. So, well,
Yeah.
I've been made aware of what we need to talk about here towards the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll talk about that as we get close to the end of hour number 3. Before we head to break.
Booty, 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 booty everywhere. Booty, 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 booty everywhere.
I want to see this music video. Like these guys, like just
look up Bubba Sparks.
I want you out there to be caller number 12 into the Fixed NC Live line. 252-317-1250. 252-317-1250. Shirley, what are they winning?
They are going to win a $40 gift card courtesy of Familia.
Oh, I'm going to take it if you don't call in. Call in now. Back with more after this here on PRL.
Hey, Pirate Nation, this is former ECU tight end Bryce Williams from my friends at the Auto Store Group. Thanksgiving is coming up, and the Auto Store Group wants to feed your family with our turkey giveaway. For a chance to be a winner, simply go to asgcars.com/turkey giveaway and fill out the registration form. There is no purchase necessary, and winners will be announced on Saturday, November 21st. Wouldn't a free turkey this year be awesome? Sign up today at asgcars.com/turkey giveaway. The Auto Store Group. Go Pirates.
Over 32 years ago, the Ronald McDonald House of Eastern North Carolina opened its doors as a place to help families stay together and close to the care they need when they have a sick child. With the addition of a second Ronald McDonald House inside the Maynard Children's Hospital, our need to serve is greater than ever as the medical community flourishes. Help us expand our mission of keeping families close as we grow to meet that need. You can show your support by making a donation to the Ronald McDonald House. Visit our website today at rmhenc.org for more information. Thank you for your support.
Hey Pirate fans, this is Cliff Godwin. Baseball is back at Clark LeClaire Stadium. We will be hosting several youth camps over the next couple months. All camps will be at Clark LeClaire Stadium, and all camps are open to participants between the ages of 7 and 13. Make sure to check out our camp website at cliffgodwinbaseballcamp.com for all camp details and registration information. And of course, go Pirates.
Hello, Pirate Nation. This is Corey Scott, former ECU Baseball All-American. During my playing days, I specialized on the field as a closer. Now, as your mortgage loan officer, I am once again specializing in closing. But this time, I am closing for you, not just the Pirates. At Movement Bank, we offer portfolio loans such as 100% doctor loans with no PMI, home equity lines of credit, and jumbo loans, all at historically low rates. Contact me today, and I will be your closer. Call Coach Corey at 378-5252. That's 378-5252. And go Pirates.
Bostic Sugg Furniture is overstacked and overstocked. Overflowing inventory means clear out prices. Hurry in and take advantage of the biggest and best deals throughout our showroom. Save up to 20% off the best furniture brands: Lazy Boy, Bassett, Kincaid, Rowe, and Restonic mattresses. Plus, just for this sale, 12 months special financing or choose 48 months special financing. There's savings on top of savings. We're overstacked and overstocked, and that means big savings for you at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
This is Brandon Tate with Firstborn Food Distribution, and coming up on Saturday, November 21st, we're going to feed 5,000 people. We need two things. One, we need you to help volunteer and help deliver this food. Two, we need your money. It costs over $16,000 to do this, and we need you to step up to the plate with your wallets and your time. To donate or volunteer, please visit pr927fm.com and click on our ad. Firstborn Food Distribution. Come feed your neighbors.
University PC Care has been the Pirate Nation's go-to IT expert since 2006. They thank you for your continued support and trust during these trying times. Many services can be done remotely and free pickup and delivery is available. As a Dell business partner and Apple authorized service provider, you can count on University PC Care for all your personal and business tech support needs. To make a remote appointment or to bring in your device for service at their Greenville or New Bern locations, call 558-1280 or go online at universitypccare.com.
Did you know that the average age of a skilled mason in North Carolina is 47 years old? Hi, this is Tim Manning with Tradesformers, a youth apprenticeship program designed to connect talented students with growing industry trades in our area. November is National Apprenticeship Month, and we encourage anyone interested in joining the growing trade workforce to visit tradesformers.com to learn more and to get started. The possibilities and career paths ahead of you are endless.
Hi, this is Phil Steele of Phil Steele's College Football Preview Magazine, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 3 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by the Auto Store Group. Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. Keep your vehicle clean with the Pirates Cove Car Wash Fast Pass. The Fast Pass allows you to have unlimited car washes every month at every location. Pirates Cove Car Wash has locations in Greenville on 10th Street, Fire Tower Road, and Memorial Drive. Pirates Cove Car Wash, the ultimate car wash experience and the official car wash of ECU Athletics. And congratulations to Sydney Tennell of Winterville. Picked up a $40 gift card courtesy of Familia. Get your sports weekend started at Familia every Thursday. Familia has $2 drafts all day. Stop by with your friends and family for some New York-style pizza and have an ice-cold $2 draft. Familia, located on Fire Tower Road near Pitt Community College, and FamiliaNC.com. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
Thank you, Shirley. And if you're bummed you didn't win, well, stop being bummed. Pick yourself up. Pia's in just a couple minutes. It's a 2 for Wednesday. There is a second opportunity for you to win the booty bag. So just sit tight. Calm down. It's okay.
It's the second opportunity for Bryce to hear the booty bag song.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bryce Williams sitting alongside here in hour number 3. How are you doing, sir? It has. We were talking before. It has been a while since you and I have run into each other. How you been?
I've been good. Yeah, we met first time. I feel like we're talking about the first, like a date. Yeah, the first time.
Yeah, first time it was dark. We were at AJ's. The light was low. It was pre-pandemic. That's when we first encountered each other.
Yeah, sports trivia. But yeah, been doing good. Just moseying along, working and hunting, fishing whenever I can, and obviously paying attention to Pirate football, and obviously doing this on Wednesdays.
I'm going to let you cap off our discussion of the Cincinnati game, since it was forever ago, but you will be the one to nail the dismount here. Now that we've had 5 days to ruminate on that game, anything that you can take away from that thing other than the chaos at the ending?
Yeah, I think Jeff, said a bunch. We just looked outpowered and just couldn't get anything going. I think there for a split second it wasn't too bad of a score from what I'm trying to remember 5 days ago, but then it just Holton getting sacked and not being able to move the ball, and I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. We just didn't perform, like we did against them last year. And if I think we would have, then obviously it probably would have been a closer game, or Pirates have been on top. Then, it's just hard to see, another loss and, 55 to, was it 10? Was it 10?
I blacked it out, to be
honest. Anyways, by a lot. And, hopefully we can, obviously move forward to Temple. And, Temple during my career obviously got the best of us. But, hopefully them having the same record and seems like the same type of play going on right now. But hopefully Pirates can pull that off. But as far as Cincinnati is, for those guys to learn from it, I guess they're actually the 24-hour rules already been up. But, move past it and focus on Temple.
I think we make a lot on this in this industry about how the game ended, the conversation between Mike and Luke, and what that entailed, and what that fake punt does moving forward. As a player, does that do anything moving forward? I mean, it bugs you then, but does it sit with you even the next time you see them?
I mean, possibly. You can look at it as an insult, and, sportsmanship thing, yada, yada, yada. But, it is what it is. Unfortunately, they're competing. They're trying to, I guess, prove a point. Cincinnati is, I guess, the fake punt. They don't just call it, if the front, the punt coverage is, or punt return team, isn't giving that look. And I guess the look was available, and Cincinnati took advantage of it and obviously succeeded on that. And then that 75-yard run instead of running the clock out, I heard people talking about, was that
one didn't bug me, to be honest, because
we should have stopped that.
It's also it's a kid who doesn't play much.
Right.
Like, what are you going to tell him to do?
Exactly.
I understand the fake punt being an issue.
Yeah, the fake punt for sure. Fourth quarter, what was it, like 5 minutes? Right at 5 minutes.
32-point game, and it was about 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes left, and they could have put it away, but like I said, maybe a sportsmanship issue and things like that, an insult. But then again, I mean, you don't get participation trophies, and it is what it is, competing, and that's all you can say about it, really.
Luke Fickell said that wasn't called.
Right. So that's what I was referring to, is like Luke Fickell not calling it, but I guess as the punter, if he sees the punt return, set up a certain way in that opening there, I guess he may have just checked, the punter would have checked it on the field, or the PP would have, checked it on the field, and that's probably why they ran it.
That's why I wanted to ask you about it, because that's what stuck with me the most, is him saying it wasn't called. In my simple brain, I'm like, that seems impossible that's not called.
It's like an audible. Like, it's kind of a known
And the punter
thing.
controls that.
The punter, I guess it depends too. The punter making the call, or honestly, it could be, typically, NFL, has a personal protector, but you have a guy out of those three guys that are the shield, typically, in college, that kind of make the call for the punt team, and I guess they must have done some signal or called out something, so the long snapper knew, that was the audible, and the opening was there for them to take it.
If you go back and watch that, by the way, which I know many people here don't want to do, but if you do, that punter is booking it. He is ready to throw down on that run. Like, if you watch him, like, he is absolutely a demon out there looking for someone to hit. That's the final word on Cincinnati. I want to give Bryce Williams the final word on that. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to flip this forward to this Saturday's game and really start diving into the thin Temple Owls against the somewhat less thin ECU Pirates coming up Saturday. Still on the schedule for noon up in Philadelphia, but...
Booty, 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 booty everywhere. Booty, 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 booty everywhere.
You need to ditch the song and just have Bryce sing it, and that be what you play.
Absolutely. Before I tell you who our giveaway is, this just came down just a couple minutes ago.
Another game canceled or no?
No. This is interesting NBA news. We've been talking about the draft.
Michael Jordan sold the Hornets?
No, I wish no. The 76ers are trading Al Horford and a first-round and second-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Danny Green. So you know.
That is somewhat sizable. Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Things in Philly needed a reset. I bet Jeff Nadu is actually not too terribly mad about that.
And up for grabs right now, free lunch at CPW's.
Caller number 12 to the fixed NC live line, 252-317-1250. 252-317-1250. Caller number 12, you get lunch at CPW's on the Booty Bag giveaway on a Wednesday night.
The best place in Greenville to unwind and have fun is AJ McMurphy's. AJ's is open every day with great food and great drink specials. During the week, stop by for open mic, music on the patio, or sports trivia with me, Clip Rock. The weekends are made for football. Watch every game in college on Saturday, and every Sunday is Fun Day with the NFL ticket. Follow AJ's on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat to see their features menu and weekly lineup. AJ McMurphy's, Turnberry Square at Bells Fork, and online at ajmcmurphys.com.
Medicare is not one size fits all, but which plan is right for you? Hi, I'm Denise Walker, and I'm a licensed insurance agent here in North Carolina. Whether you are turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I can help you compare your Medicare options. I can help you find a plan offering low to no monthly premiums, prescription drug coverage, and a wide range of additional benefits like dental, hearing, vision, and more. Call me today at 434-531-5674 to get a no-cost, no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
What's the big deal?
Where can you get pizza, bread twists, specialty chicken, and more for just $5.99 each?
Is it at Domino's?
He hands off hand-tossed pizza and the marble cookie brownie. He's going!
There's a lot of variety on the radio and at Domino's too, where you can
Mix and match 2 or more. $5.99 each at Domino's.
2-item minimum. Pan pizza, bone-in wings, and bread bowls will be extra. Ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary.
Every team knows that the two-point play can be a winning move. That's why I'm here. State Farm agent Timothy Sawyer and my team are here to help you go for 2 by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score some savings by combining your home and auto. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, Timothy Sawyer, at 493-0002 today.
When you don't have time to go to lunch, let Jimmy John's deliver lunch to you. With Jimmy John's, we can get a freaky fresh sandwich to you freaky fast. Click to order at jimmyjohns.com. Dinner's great. It's one of your top 3 favorite meals. You just don't want to have to make it. Well, with Jimmy John's, you don't have to. Whether you live in a sandwich delivery zone or head into the store, you can always get a freaky fresh sandwich. Click to order at jimmyjohns.com.
2020 certainly hasn't been the year many of us were hoping for, but one thing has stayed the same. I'm Tim Sutton with Greenville Auto World, and our commitment to our customers has never wavered. Let Greenville Auto World show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Greenville. We believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right leads to satisfied repeat buyers. Your vehicle is a big investment, and our customers trust us to keep them up and running with outstanding service and value. For Greenville Auto World, cross some Hardee's at Bell's Fork.
Here today with Gamecock, also known as Bruce Batten to his friends and family. Why F3?
For me, it's really 2 things: accountability and fellowship, and looking at turning 50 years old and where I was headed physically. It wasn't the path that I wanted to be on. I was lucky enough to run into some guys that kind of headlocked me and brought me out here, and once out here, I kind of fell in love with the atmosphere. The fellowship's unbelievable. I've got a group of guys behind me, no matter what I'm going through in my life, I can depend on, and that's what it's about.
1 letter, 1 number, F3. Learn more today at f3enc.com.
This is Stephen Igo, publisher of HoistTheColors.net. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any college sports program, and no one devotes more coverage to the future of ECU athletics than Hoist the Colors. Want to know who's going to be the next Holton Ahlers or Jaden Gardner? We've got all the inside scoop on the Pirates' most talented recruits and top targets 24/7. Sign up now and get your first month of coverage for a single $1. HoistTheColors.net, the most reliable reporting on ECU athletics.
This is Billy Weaver from WITN. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 3 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by the Auto Store Group. Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. If you're in the market for a quality used vehicle, then the Auto Store Group is for you. The Auto Store Group has 3 locations and over 150 quality used vehicles to choose from for all budgets. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. The Auto Store Group, your hometown store and Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. And congratulations to Jackie Hutcherson of Winterville. Picked up free lunch at CPW's. CPW's is back every day for lunch. CPW's classic menu is also back with all of your favorites like tortellini, CPW's, Cajun chicken, and pasta, classic lasagna, the garbage pizza, the stromboli, calzone, Atlantic salmon, Cajun fried shrimp wrap, and more. Start every meal off with your favorite beverage and CPW's fresh baked bread and garlic butter. CPW's is back open for lunch in the Stanton Square Shopping Center next to the hospital. Follow CPW's on Facebook for daily updates. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
Thank you very much, Shirley. And now I want garlic butter. Thank you for that. And
sorry.
Don't forget, Saturday, ECU and Temple, we got you covered right here on Pirate Radio. The 4-hour Bud Light pregame tailgate starts at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And then when the fourth quarter ends Saturday, the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show will be on the air taking your calls until the very last caller is served. 2 noon kicks to round out the season, including this Saturday against Temple. Bryce Williams back alongside here in hour number 3. Let me ask you this, former Pirate and current observer of Pirate football. You have watched this team this season. You have seen the ebbs and flows that we just heard Jeff Charles talk about and mention to us about one thing breaks through, but another thing kind of breaks down, and then it reverses and flips. Over the next 2 weeks, what's something you want to see from this group? Take wins, take losses out of it. What's something that you'd like to see in the final 2 weeks of the year?
I think, making big plays when it counts, on third and longs, and continue to, keep the defense off the field, defense to, I guess one word, just consistency. We know what the talent is. It's just a matter of the guys, finding it during the games and, finishing. I think, consistency and finishing. And consistency obviously covers, a few things of, knowing your assignment each play, not making mental mistakes. If we can do those things and, have the talent exposed that we know we have, we should finish the season off well.
Is there anything to focusing too much on a quarterback making his first start, a freshman who was not even on a depth chart a month ago for Temple? Is too much made out of that? Or should we be talking about that as much as we've been talking about it?
I think it's a key factor. When you got a quarterback making his first start. Naturally, he's probably gonna have a little bit of jitters, and I think if we put pressure on him early, maybe get him kind of worked up, and always having the Pirates in the back of his mind before he's making a read, or the first thing he's thinking about, before he's making a read to throw a pass, I think can be very effective, as far as the defense. So, I think it's definitely something to hone in on, and I know Coach will, DC will, make the right calls and put pressure on him when needed. So I think it is an effective thing to pay attention to.
Let's hear Mike Houston talk about Matt Duncan, who will be the freshman getting the start for Temple, and trying to find a way to scout a guy that doesn't have much to look at right now. Mike Houston addressed that yesterday in his press conference about how he's tried to go about finding a little bit of information on this kid. That's cut number 7.
Yeah, we recruited his brother when I was at James Madison, so I'm familiar at least with his family. I know the high school very well. We have his film from high school. We've taken a good look at that, and then we've taken a look at every snap he's played this year. Certainly talented player coming out of high school. Runs well, lefty, strong arm. Very accurate. I thought he had really good film coming out of high school. I thought, in the latter part of the game against UCF, I thought he showed some athleticism with some of the runs that he had. I know that they were, probably trying to be pretty conservative with their play calling there, but, with a week under their belt to develop a game plan for him, I'm sure that they'll have a package that he can run, at a very high level. And, we've had that experience earlier this year when, we started a true freshman against Navy. So, I can relate to what they're going through right now. But, like I said before, he's got such a strong surrounding cast. It's going to be a challenge for us. We're going to have to do a great job Saturday. I'm sure that they'll have him prepared to play at a high level.
It's Mike Houston talking about Matt Duncan, who will be getting the start for Temple Saturday against the Pirates. There is a little bit of a comparison that he gave and that Temple coach Rod Carey gave to Holton Ahlers, frankly, as to what Duncan's skill set might be here, which means a little bit more of a mobile threat, and a Temple team that has their main running back is now in the transfer portal a few weeks ago. They have not run the ball well all this year. they're going to try and run the ball this week, and that's something ECU has struggled stopping over the last couple of weeks. How do you game plan knowing what you need to stop when it's been a tricky thing stopping it of late?
I guess continue to just work on it and study it, and make the right calls, and and for the defensive guys to execute their assignment. With mobile quarterbacks, it can it's a challenge for every defense, as we saw against Cincinnati. The quarterback for Cincinnati wouldn't have anybody open, but then so as the play just continue to disperse and guys open up, obviously the quarterback would run the ball and consistently get first down. So trying to have a QB spy in some sort of fashion, with a linebacker, somebody staying home during the pass play, to make sure that quarterback doesn't get that first down when it's 3rd and 5, 2nd and 6, whatever it may be. Will definitely be a challenge for the guys.
It'll be fascinating to me to see how much ECU defensively games plans specifically for this guy, or if they change much of anything of what they've been trying to do the last couple of weeks, and frankly this season. Blake Harrell likes to hit the go button, and so now with a quarterback that you don't know anything about, that has had 2 attempts all year, how often are you pressing go?
A big thing I think with and that's cool about Coach Harold is pressing the go button, sending blitzes and stuff, and it's exciting to watch, seeing the guys, because you got to risk it big sometimes, to get good results. It could bite you in the butt sometimes, but I think with a quarterback making his first start, you putting, like I said earlier, putting pressure on him, that's going to leave the quarterback up to know his hot reads, and how to dish the ball out quickly, or if he's going to just hunker down and brace for impact. So I think Coach Harold putting the go button on, and I think it could be effective. Being with this quarterback's on his first start.
See how often they blitz early, and if they can get home on this kid. Keep in mind, it's a thinner defensive backfield now. The secondary now doesn't have Warren Saba in it for the Pirates, and the safety spot's been a little bit of a revolving door because of injuries this year. So the blitzes can get home. That will help mask what could be a problem in this game with a secondary that is banged up, and Temple has good receivers if they can get someone to get them the ball.
Right. Yes. And hopefully, just saying, we put pressure on them, and we got a few Pirates honing in on that quarterback, and sacks. Sometimes that quarterback's wanting to throw, about to throw for a pass, and then we come around from his backside and cause a fumble. Big things can happen for that. With our secondary being banged up and Temple having good receivers. If we can get to the quarterback quick so he can't make the reads, and the receivers go through their full route, that'll be effective.
Who have you liked more, if there has been one you've liked more in the backfield for ECU? Has it been the bruiser that is Rajay Harris, or has it been kind of the find the holes guy and the shifty guy, Keaton Mitchell? They've both been great to watch.
Yeah, they've been great to watch. Rajay Harris is, I think, knowing his size and seeing some of the plays he runs hard, and he's north and south guy, and I think I'm gonna go with Raji just because he's big. He's bringing a little bit of the boom, but obviously the other guy, he's shifty and can make people look pretty silly. So it's tough. But I like Raji just for being a little bigger guy.
And it's a big Temple defensive line, so they have like a 330 guy up the middle there. So I wonder if Mitchell has a little bit more of a chance of being successful, being a little bit more of a squirrely guy to bring down, as opposed to Harris, who just wants to hit people.
Yeah, possibly so. And Temple had some good D line when I played, and I remember one thing that Temple did. I don't know if they still do, but on the defensive side of the ball stuff, the guys that were, single digit numbers, were kind of the, I just lost my train of thought. The single digit numbers were kind of like the outstanding, players on the defense and the main guys. So I guess see where that defensive lineman is if they have one in a single digit, and, run away from him, and, hopefully he doesn't get a hold of anybody.
Speaking of big beings, You have a story you need to tell us, and we'll do it after the break here, Bryce. One, you're called Big Bryce Williams, and I understand why, but a creature that it might be slightly bigger than you ran into not too long ago. We'll talk about that. It's Pirate Radio Outdoors coming up for the final segment of this Wednesday edition of PRL. Stick around, folks.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Tom Brown from Brown & Wood Buick GMC Truck. We've been serving the Pirate Nation in Eastern North Carolina for 83 years. We have 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 showrooms, and 1 goal: to make sure you leave a happy customer.
This month at Brown & Wood, get an all-new 2020 Buick for 0% for 84 months, or save over $6,000 off all models. As always, Brown & Wood is the home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
We're located on Greenville Boulevard next to the Convention Center, or shop us online at brownandwoodauto.com.
You can paint these peaches purple!
Classic sports moments never get old, and neither does classic food from CPW's. CPW's classic menu is back with all of your favorites like tortellini CPW's, Cajun chicken and pasta, classic lasagna, the garbage pizza, the stromboli, calzone, Atlantic salmon, the Cajun fried shrimp wrap, and more. Start every meal off with your favorite beverage and CPW's fresh baked bread and garlic butter. CPW's, serving classics in Greenville since 1995. Stanton Square near the hospital.
Cold weather is here, and some families in our area need help to stay warm. Greenville Utilities' Neighbor to Neighbor program provides help for those who need temporary assistance with their heating costs. You can make a difference. Your tax-deductible donation can be added to your GUC bill each month, or you can make a one-time donation. And GUC matches all donations up to $20,000 each year. Consider helping a neighbor stay warm this winter with GUC's Neighbor to Neighbor program. For more information, call 752-7166 or visit GUC.com.
You've seen it on TV, and now you can experience it for yourself. Introducing the Warrior Zone, Greenville's first and ever only Ninja Warrior training facility. This is John from the Warrior Zone, where community, fun, and fitness collide. We offer weekly ninja training classes, memberships, one-on-one coaching, competition teams, and open gym. Not a ninja? No problem. We work with everyone and want people to feel encouraged when they leave Warrior Zone. Make your life better with Ninja Fun at the Warrior Zone. Old Tall Road, next to Plant and Sea at warriorzone.ninja.
Ahoy, mateys! To keep those cars clean, you need the Pirates Cove Fast Pass.
The new Pirates Cove Car Wash and Haviland Express Lube on Glen Burnie Road in New Bern is now open. Pirates Cove in New Bern is offering Fast Passes for $9.99 for new Fast Pass customers. You can visit us in Greenville on Fire Tower Road, Memorial Drive, and on East 10th Street. And have you heard? Pirates Cove on Fire Tower Road is now offering interior cleaning.
So we have you surrounded. Pirates Cove, the official car wash partner of ECU Athletics.
Hi, this is Luke Kuechly. Last season, I was captain on defense. This season, since so many of us will be watching football from home, I'm football watching with Pepsi. And you know me, I pour everything I've got into it. All right, football watchers, let's do this. Opening click-offs. Here we go. Click on, click off. Click on, click off. Stretch that thumb. You can't have finger fatigue bringing you down in the postseason. Nice job. And my favorite, second half sip-offs. Pepsi's up, lift, pull, open. Ice cold Pepsi and watching football. Nothing better.
It's not game day without a delicious, refreshing Pepsi, the official soft drink of the National Football League. Head to your nearest retailer, grab your Pepsi before kickoff, then sit back, relax, and cheer on your favorite team. Pepsi, made for football watching.
Chico's Mexican Restaurant is where the fiesta never ends. Grab your amigos and head to Chico's every Wednesday for shrimp tacos for only $9.99. Plus Wednesdays means all Mexican imports for only $2.50. Thursdays, enjoy your favorite beef, chicken, or vegetable fajitas for only $9.99. For Mexican food and fun, it's got to be Chico's Mexican Restaurant in downtown Greenville and online at chicosrestaurant.com. Chico's, where the fiesta never ends.
This is ECU Assistant Football Coach Roy Tesh, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 3 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by the Auto Store Group. Pirate owned and operated for over 38 years. Shop their entire inventory today at theautostoregroup.com. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. Live well, move more, and hurt less with Kinetic Physical Therapy. If you're recovering from an injury, getting back into sports, dealing with everyday pain or fatigue, then Kinetic Physical Therapy can help you get back on track and live well. Kinetic has national certified therapists for physical, occupational, speech, and massage therapy, all in a state-of-the-art facility on Arlington Boulevard in Greenville. Visit kineticptgreenville.com. Taking a look at your stock market report for today, it was another rough day. The Dow dropped 344 points at 29,438. The NASDAQ is down 97 at 11,801. And the S&P is down 41 at 3,567. That's your Wells Fargo Advisors financial report. For a personal look into investing, call Wells Fargo Advisors today at 756-6900 in Greenville. Wells Fargo Advisors, LLC, member SIPC. Now let's head back in to PRL. Here's your host, Corey Gloor.
Wrapping things up on a Wednesday night, I need to visit Kinetic because I have the skeletal structure of an 85-year-old man. Just at all times. Bryce Williams sitting in my left. He actually has a reason to be sore from time to time. He played the sport of football. I'm just glacial in terms of what I do. All right, Bryce, when I walked in today, and again, I'm new sitting in this chair as Clip returns to full health here in the near future, I was told there is a segment at the end of the show in which you just take the floor and talk about your wheelings and dealings in the world of the outdoors, and you have quite a get for this one.
Well, last time I was on here, I was able to go Friday, deer hunting. Saw 4 does, and I had a little spike buck, walk. Literally, I could have spit on him right under my stand. So it's kind of funny when you can get that close to deer without them having any idea you're there. But anyway, so then, got to hunt. So that was cool. Well, then Monday, I get asked if I want to go hunting Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. Well, I said, well, of course. So I was able to get in the woods yesterday evening, and sitting box stand, and it was kind of a slow afternoon. Saw a deer at 3, just as doe walking the path, and well, then right at 5 o'clock, I guess it's time to clock out, and I see a deer coming around the bend, around the corner, and it was a bug. After looking at him, it ended up being a 9-pointer. Of course, my daggone heart shot to my throat and just started pounding. Well, I had to watch him, because he was just facing me, and you want a broadside shot, ideally. So I had to sit there and watch him just eating corn for about longest 3 minutes without, just seeing through my crosshairs just bouncing and shaking because my heart's racing and everything. And my goodness, I'm sitting there trying to calm myself down, and he kept flinching like he was, because they're weary animals. They are just uptight all the time, and he just kept on flinching. I'm like, my goodness, he's gonna run or something. Well, fortunately, after the longest 3 minutes it seemed I've ever had to wait, he finally turned broadside, and he was right shy of 100 yards and laid smack down on him, and he didn't go 20. So he dropped, and shoot, I was so tickled. I took I even took like a post shot, like you
showed me the photo.
The photo, I took the photo with him, but I was fired up, and I was excited and thankful, to be able to shoot my best deer to date so far, and just super thankful for it. And it's awesome, when you can shoot a deer and everything. So it was a good evening, and shoot the biggest bug. And then I went this morning, saw I think 4 does and whatnot, and they were a little weird because I guess they got my wind or something, so they ran off. So I wasn't gonna shoot them, but kind of wanted to watch some deer. But it was a good week, and I'll see what I can do this weekend, and hopefully have something for next week.
Couple of things. One, I'm glad that you let him enjoy a meal first.
Yeah, he did. He had his last meal.
Had a nice, good, hearty meal. 2, this was during the break. I was mentioning I saw a bunch of deer while I was golfing over the weekend, just kind of hanging out near and on the course. And you said something that you said it in your drawl, so it's not as terrifying as it actually is. But when you said they hang out, they're smart. but sometimes they're not too smart. but not smart enough.
Yeah, sometimes they're not smart enough.
And it was bone chilling.
Yeah, they'll get the best of you, but it's nice when you get the best of them. And
I'm sorry, the term was laid the smackdown on him.
Yeah, laid the smackdown on him.
And he didn't run 20.
He didn't go 20. That's kind of the guy I follow on Instagram. His name's Rut Daniels, and he's hilarious. And that's his little saying. Didn't go 20, as in just dead quick.
Just called it a day.
He dropped.
But he was well fed.
He was. He had a full belly.
Yeah.
He didn't know what hit him.
Exactly. I like to go like that. A nice full meal and then
bam,
lights out.
Lights out like a light switch.
Yeah.
So that's the way you want it. No tracking job.
Yeah, then it gets a little messy.
Yeah, the easy part, certain is just sort of waiting, and that gets a little impatient and all that. But the easy part's shooting them. Then you got to drag them. I had some rope. I always keep rope with me.
Also creepy out of context.
Yeah. When I'm hunting, I always got rope. There we go. And I had to tie rope around my waist and around his horns, and I had to drag him 200 yards. But, it's better than grabbing by his horns. It's just sort of like doing a sled sled drag.
Before we end things here tonight on a Wednesday, Bryce, do you have a prediction or a bold thing that you want to see Saturday?
I mean, as always, I got the Pirates. As far as a detailed score, we've scored some points. I know
Pirates are 3.5 point favorites.
3.5 point favorite. Well, I'll make us a 10-point favorite if it's possible. I guess I'll go 30-20.
30-20. So says Bryce Williams for Saturday's game against Temple.
Let's see what we can do.
Let's do it. It was a pleasure. Sir.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Good
nice
seeing you again. And I believe next time you're in here, this should be Clip Rock in here. He's still getting back and working, and I'm sure he's judging harshly.
Hope you're better, Clip.
Yeah, get better, good sir. Administrative note before we go, there is still sports trivia tonight at AJ's. Clip is not hosting and is a guest host, so if you're one of the regulars out there, keep that in mind at AJ's here tonight. All right, that'll do it for a Wednesday edition of Pirate Radio Live. Thanks to a bunch of people here today. Let's make sure I run them down appropriately. We started off with Kevin Monroe. We had his broadcast partner, Jeff Charles, on today. Of course, Bryce Williamson. To my left, we had Spencer Percy from BuzzMeat Podcast, Jeff Nadu, big man on campus, all on the show today. Intern Chandler, Shirley Rhodes behind the glass, making everything work. My thanks to them, and my thanks to all of you for tuning in here on a Wednesday afternoon and evening. We'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock on another edition of Pirate Radio Live. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Pirate Radio Live, an exclusive presentation of